Welcome back to the Top 6 show. It's Friday. It's the FA Cup weekend. United, Everton later. Lots of transfer stories to delve into. Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea back on, according to Matt Law. Joao Felix to Arsenal will advance. They will start to increase the pressure on that deal very soon. MYKHAILO Mudryyk wants Arsenal, but Chelsea are growing in confidence. We're delving into all of them, plus looking at Marcus Thuram and many others. We're talking about the title race tonight. Are Man United about to join it? We're going to be looking at Tottenham and Chelsea. Potter out trending globally last night, and Spurs fans feeling relieved after their brilliant, magnificent 4-0 win against Crystal Palace. All that and much, much more on the Terrace Top 6 show this afternoon. But look at my brilliant panel. First of all, man like Kaz back again, ready to go in the Japan shirt. We've got Callum's here. We brought Callum in for a laugh, really, asking how Liverpool were doing and all of that. But the set's looking good, bruv. The set's looking good. I'm liking it there. Top of the tree, and top of the wish list of a lot of the men that tune into the Terrace. It's Colleen in the house, looking ready to go this evening. And look, he's back two times in a week. Patrick is here. He's ready to go. Got the earphones ready. And of course, joining us tonight as well, on top of that, is man like Egal. He's here. Arsenal shirt ready, hoodie underneath. You cold, bro, or something? What's going on? We don't know. Welcome, everybody. How you all doing?
I'm doing good. How's everyone doing?
Great.
Yeah, fantastic.
I'm great. How are you doing, Egal?
It's been a while, Colleen. It's nice.
It's nice. I feel like we're in a very good place right now. We're doing good, aren't we? Can't speak for everyone else around here.
No,
especially between us.
Like,
right here.
I think I'm doing all right.
Or here. I'm not sure how this one up here is
He's doing good, to be fair. I don't know about this guy.
Me, I'm great, man. I'm great. You know, the all clear on my health today. So what I've decided to do after I was told I was healthy is get proper pissed tonight. You know what I mean? Because I know I can, and you know, bad adverse effects. You know what I mean?
You know what's mad? My dad, he just beat skin cancer, right? So like big up him, obviously.
Listen, congratulations.
And then, what does he do? Goes on holiday. Goes and gets a tan, and I'm thinking like, Dad, mate, like, what are you doing?
He goes back in the sun.
He goes back in the sun, like, what are you doing? He said, yeah, I'm gonna go get pissed up now, and then that's it.
You got to live life. You've got to live life.
Where are the Chelsea guys at?
Roy got held up at work. Chelsea fans have been very hard to get hold of today. KJ has spent 8 hours looking for good quality Chelsea fans to come on the show. In fairness, we had to drag Callum here kicking and screaming. What's going on with Liverpool at the minute? And I mean, in fairness, Chelsea, it's a shame, though, Chelsea fans turned up, because the first two bits of the agenda are about Chelsea. The first story that we're going to delve into, actually, is Enzo Fernandez is back on again. Now, this is a story that's come out this afternoon. There's been multiple journalists, but Matt Law stated, and I'll quote him here, is Chelsea have not yet ruled out making a new offer for Enzo Fernandez before the transfer window shuts, despite the complaints from the Portugal club about the nature of the negotiations. They need some more players, don't they, Chelsea? And Enzo's one of them. It's back on again, according to Matt Law. Like, I haven't spoken to Callum in a while. Like, what do you make of Chelsea's transfer pursuit so far this January, and in turn their form in the league?
Chelsea's approach is scattergun. It goes back to what they've been doing for years. We're gonna try and take one of our rivals' targets to ensure they don't get stronger and we get stronger. It's smart, but it's also silly because it kind of shows that you have no strategy at the end of the day. In terms of their league form, I mean, I'm kind of the last person to speak on league form right now on this panel, but theirs is poor. It's really bad, and it's not so much the money they spent; it's the fact that they spent that money and then got rid of the manager and changed the manager. So the manager was obviously trying to build towards something. He gets sacked. You brought in someone new after spending all that money to now play a different system, different philosophy, different tactics. It's really bad there. I mean, the only thing they can maybe lean on is the fact they've got a lot of players who could potentially be sold and bring in money to the club, and they can reinvest that money. But with Arsenal getting stronger, Newcastle getting stronger, Tottenham now starting to find the groove, Man United getting stronger, it's a risky game that they're playing at the moment. And as things stand right now, I still think Potter long term would be good for Chelsea, but Chelsea have never been a team that really looks at the long term. It's always about short term success and then going from there. So I don't know what's going to happen with those guys.
Yeah, listen, I totally get where you're coming from, and of course, Chelsea Football Club suffered horrible news today with the passing of one of their legends in Gianluca Vialli, who, you know, he's only 18 months ago we saw him celebrating Italy's win at the Euros as one of their coaches or part of their coaching setup. A very, very sad news for them, of course, today. And you know, he's kind of a legend from when before Chelsea had money, if that made sense. You know, original Chelsea. If you catch my drift on that, but it isn't great. And Egal, I mean, I wanted to come to you on this. We know how good a player Enzo is. You called out, said it was too much money, and so far Todd Bowley is agreeing with you. They verbally committed to paying 120, 127 according to journalists, but they never actually submitted that bid. They only submitted 85 million. They might come back in later. They're looking to hijack Mudryk, but you called it out in the summer, Egal. You said that the strategy was bad, the approach was bad, and it was going to end poorly for Chelsea. And do you feel somewhat vindicated by that opinion now, fast forwarding sort of 6-7 months?
100%. And not only that, Terry, they're burning bridges. You can't tell someone you're going to pay 120 something plus and then come back and underpay by like 50 million almost. That's ridiculous. You're burning bridges. I don't know if Benfica obviously want to sell the player, but they should take this as a slap in the face. And the strategy that they're approaching them with, at least approach them with the actual offer to begin with. Don't lie to the people and tell them you're going to pay this much and then end up offering something else. Because at the end of the day, you could burn bridges with Benfica. And you know how much quality players they produce at the end of the year. Every year, they always turn out quality players. But yeah, going back to Todd Bowley, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He trusts himself too much, in the sense that he trusts his business savvy and the fact that he runs other sports in America. But when it comes to football, he came in and he sacked too many people. He left himself with not enough heads to trust. And now he has a whole new team coming in, trying to get themselves sorted at Chelsea. And they don't know what to do. They really are in a place where they're like, do we still scout like we're at Brighton or do we scout like we're at Chelsea? And then I see them signing a bunch of players where it seems like you're just buying quantity over quality at this point, because you're buying so many players. I don't know if you're even doing your due diligence where it comes to checking the scouting, how they fit, how they play with you, if the manager even wants them. And it just, the whole scattergun approach to what they're doing, it doesn't seem like it makes sense. And unless they have a bunch of players, contracts running out, they're going to have too many players on the books come next year.
I disagree. Slightly touch. You're very right, but in the same touch for Enzo Fernandez, for me, it's a lot of money, but who hasn't overpaid when it comes to players? My club certainly has. I think a lot of teams have done so. And not only is the man 19, 120 million, their structure deal looked very good at the time, 20 million per season, broke it down, 6-year deal, something like that. Maybe a bit longer. I heard it was like 6.5, something like that. I think it would have been a very good player for Potter, someone that can move the ball, defensive, can play a bit of everything. But you're right about Todd Bowley. I don't think there's a clear strategy either. But Benfica are not in a position to be selling. They've made a lot of money. They're the king of transfers, clearly. They're in top. I think they're top of the league. They're doing well in the Champions League. The man just won the World Cup. It's just that they know Chelsea are in a position where they need players. And yeah, man, I think Chelsea are missing out, and you're just giving opportunity to the likes of Man United and Liverpool, who clearly need a player like this.
You know what? It's not. They're not missing out. In the sense, if they spend that type of money on one individual player when they're doing a rebuild, it could it's not going to hurt them financially, but having that level of money invested in one individual player in the long run,
that's why I agree. Them. Yeah.
So did you say it would hurt? So it wouldn't help
them financially, but it could cost them based on everyone else is looking around saying Chelsea's willing to pay this much money for a player that's performing like this. If he doesn't perform well, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, but that only is a bad thing if they don't have the money to fix all the other problems. So, for instance, they spend £100 million on a midfielder and have no money left for cover at right back, no money left for another striker. If you actually look at the wider reports with Chelsea, they want to bring in Enzo. And I know what they've done. They're just trying to now push that price down. And I think there could be an outcome at the end of this window which sees him get him 100 mil, 110 mil. And then you'd say, well, they've taken 15, 20 million pound off of the original price, which is good business. But they're still looking to spend 70 million pound on Declan Rice in the summer. There's no talk that the money won't be there. So this kind of notion that you shouldn't spend 100 million pound on a player, Now, I'm not saying Enzo is of that value, but every 3 to 4 years, we get a player that's sold in a particular position where everybody says no player should be worth that amount of money. And then you fast forward 4 or 5 years and everyone's going for that price or higher. So this is just another breakaway moment. I'm seeing people like say Man United are doing this well because they've gone out and got Casemiro, strengthened their midfield, the most important role on the pitch. Now we're having to go at a club that want to spend a lot of money on the most important role on the pitch. According to those same people, I think Chelsea have been scattergun, there's no doubt, and we'll get on to Graham Potter soon. But I do think there is a strategy. Remember, it's not Todd Bowley doing the negotiating anymore. It's their new sporting director, who comes highly recommended from RB Leipzig. So I do think there's a little bit of jealousy towards Chelsea because people expected them to not have any money. And I almost feel like people are like, I know they're doing badly, but why have they still got money at the same time? Like, I just don't think Chelsea are going to go away. They're having a bad year. It's probably going to end a bad year. But still, I think beyond it, when Graham Potter settles, when he actually has a window himself, there could, especially you as an Arsenal fan, like, look how you guys started in your rebuild.
Everybody, I don't get the Graham Potter out stuff either because the man hasn't even spent a single penny on one of his players yet. He's inherited a piece of crap. Like, honestly, it's a discombobulated team, in my opinion. I don't think he's a bad manager whatsoever.
He's not a Chelsea manager. He's not.
Maybe there's questions upon if he can handle this Chelsea team and everything, but there was questions about your manager at the start as well. Like, there's always been.
I'm not judging Potter.
Even Pep Guardiola, when he first arrived at Man City, he had to do a lot of rebuilding. Yeah, but he ain't spent a penny. I don't get this. It's an
imbalanced squad, and you spent all this money, but it still looks imbalanced. How does that make sense?
That's not the manager's fault, though.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not blaming the manager. You guys think I'm blaming the manager. Not once have I mentioned Graham Potter's name.
But we're talking about Graham Potter. Hang on, but Egal.
This whole time I'm looking at the recruitment and the structure.
Egal. But Kaz was talking about Graham Potter, so let's stick to Graham Potter.
Okay, so Graham Potter, I think everyone needs to give him time, personally. Because when it comes down to it, the squad, you can see the players are letting him down. The construction of the squad has been terrible. He doesn't have the players that he wants, and he came into a team where they had no idea what they were doing in the summer, and they just bought a bunch of players. So maybe in 6 months' time, you'll actually see a system, you actually see a style of play, and you actually see a team that looks more like what he wants it to look like.
I think we've got to be fair as well, though, because they've had so many injuries. Like, even yesterday, 2 players just dropped dead in the beginning stages of the game, and no one's really talking about that.
Patrick, your mic's gone all funny again, bro. Try pulling your earphones out and see if that helps, bro. Sorry, mate.
One sec.
No worries, bro.
I'm gonna disagree with you all. I think Potter, it will get better for Potter. Of course, when you get a transfer window, of course, when you get a pre-season, of course, when you get the players that you want, it will inevitably get better. But do I think Graham Potter is going to take Chelsea back to that heights that they experienced quite a lot throughout the Abramovich era, Premier League winning, Champions League winning? I don't think he's got that top. I don't think he's got that dog in him. I don't think he's got it in him. I look at him and it's like, you ain't got it, baby. He ain't got it. And
why do you say that, Khalid? Sorry.
Yeah. Where's the logic behind it?
Do you know what? I think he's a very good coach. I'm not going to say he's not a good coach, but I don't think, maybe it's just because I haven't seen enough of him at Chelsea. That's why I'm already like being harsher with him. But I think Brighton was a good comfort zone for him, or maybe even like, the likes of a West Ham or an Everton. At Chelsea, and this is also coming from modern Chelsea, so I've still got that hangover from there as well, and yet to see how Bowley's going to be with his football team, because with his baseball team, he's given them a lot of time. He gave them 7 years before they won a trophy and a lot of investment. But I just look at Graham Potter and I'm just not convinced he can handle the players of that ilk who will be at Chelsea, those egos, those personalities. That's what I'm basing my assessment on. I do think he's a good coach, but I just don't think he's a Chelsea level coach. I hope, well, do you know what? I don't want to be proven wrong. I'm hoping proven right. But I think he will. I think he will get better. I just don't see this being not to compare rebuilds. I don't see it being, if we're taking the Arsenal model, it's obviously not that, but you see how it got really, really bad, and then all of a sudden, bang, it just went into place. I just don't see that.
2.5 years, bang, like that, yeah.
What I'm saying is I don't see that for Chelsea. I think they should get someone else.
I don't see any big egos at Chelsea anymore, though.
You don't think more? Well, I mean, when you bring more in, because they're going to have to bring in top quality, world class players, they're going to have to. It's similar to how Man United brought in Casemiro. I'm not saying he's got a big ego, but even the likes of
That's what I was gonna use him as an example though, because he's world class, undoubtedly has been for 5-6 years, but he doesn't seem like someone who's got an ego.
That's where they need to get the fine line. Because, for example, if they were to get like, for instance, it was like 6 years ago, and it was like the Hazards of this world. They've even got Aubameyang, who I'm trying not to let my Arsenal bias seep through here. He's obviously not performing, but he obviously has had a few issues in the past. I think I'm curious to see how it'll pan out. But if I'm a Chelsea fan, especially a modern day Chelsea fan, not a 50-year-old Chelsea fan, a 20-something and under 20 Chelsea fan, you're going to be applying a lot of pressure because you're not used to this kind of patience and waiting and hoping that, and bear in mind, not that this should play a part into how good someone is at winning a trophy. I'm not saying this, what I'm about to say, but there's also that thing, we've never had an English manager win the Premier League. And is Potter going to be the first one to do that? I don't see it.
I think it's so harsh. Like he's got to deal with a Mount who wants 300k a week, thinks he's bigger than he is. Multiple injuries, by the way, in both their key fullbacks with Chilwell, Reece James. Huh?
Mount wants 300k.
He wants 300. Apparently, from what I've saw from before, he wants about 300k per week to stay at Chelsea. Your cover man.
I agree with you though.
And then you got Aubameyang, who's not his fault. We didn't get him in. He's had 3 shots on target since he's arrived at Chelsea, by the way. And then it's like, he's got no striker going forward. Havertz is not that man clearly, and he's just trying. I just think you can't put anything on him just yet until.
That's why I said
at least 2 transfer windows minimum.
He'll get better. But I just don't think he's going to be of the same Chelsea ilk that the modern.
I don't get that because he's been at Brighton and he was slumping top 6, man, including my club.
But this is Chelsea. This is Chelsea. They want to be challenged.
But you can't say though it's a Roman era. But then this is Chelsea when it's a different era now. This isn't Chelsea.
That's why
it's a whole new era. They're gonna have to get used to that whether they like it or not. It's the same thing with Man United fans. When Alex Ferguson went, we had to get used to the cracks whether we liked it or not, and they just
You're never going to get used to the fact that your club wasn't what it was at the peak. If anything, your expectations raise higher the longer you're down, the longer you're falling.
My expectations for this season is top 4 now. Like before it wasn't. That's disgusting. No, because Chelsea fans can't be in that position, in my opinion. Anyway,
I'm no Chelsea fan, right? I would love to see them sit in 10th for the rest of their days.
So would I.
How do you say this?
Potter's not it.
This season, Chelsea fans' expectations should be try to stay in Europe, not Champions League, not Europa League. Just try to stay in Europe, because at this moment in time, everything's looking so bad. They could easily finish outside of Europe, right? And when it comes to Potter, I personally believe Chelsea fans will never have the patience for him, but the ownership will. And as long as the ownership do, they're going to back him and they're going to keep him.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, it's going to be so intriguing to see how this kind of works out. Chelsea fans seem split on all these debates. Eric here says, Bowley is a spoiled, I think he means brat, thinks money is going to win the title without the right manager, squad and tactics. Let Potter bring his own players. Arsenal finish 3rd is what Eric believes there. Look, it's so interesting. One thing I'm glad that he's not doing now is he's gotten rid of the fade, Graham Potter. I do feel like putting on that suit and the fade was a problem because it was almost, that's not you, bruv. And Callum, you're like my age. So when I say Mighty Ducks to you, Mighty Ducks 2.
Am I? I'm joking.
Yeah. If I say to you Mighty Ducks 2, do you remember when they were Team USA? And
you're gonna hate me, Terry. I'm not.
Oh, you haven't watched it.
I'm sorry.
The Mighty Ducks 2, right? There's a great scene where Gordon Bombay is the Mighty Ducks coach. He turns up to a big game against Iceland, and the Iceland coach wears a suit as his hair slicked back. And Coach Bombay turns up to the game dressed like the Iceland coach and acting different and doing it for the cameras and because it's like a good image look. And he fell apart. I think Graham Potter turning up wearing new treads, new clothes, the new haircut with the fade. I think go back to what you are, bruv. Look like the PE teacher you are. You and Lee Gunner are brothers. Look like Lee Gunner. Look like that, bruv, and do your thing. That's what's going to be important for him. Brighton dumped Potter on Bowley for 22 million. Madness is what Keenan says. Joshua Lovelace says Potter's record at Brighton isn't as good as you guys are making it out. He was so streaky. go and actually look at it, he never had consistency.
He had Mopay up front.
Yeah, it's so hard to judge. I thought he did really well for what he had.
Mopay up
Yeah.
front.
Can you imagine Conte at Chelsea with them, with all the backing that he's always wanted? It would have been a dream for him.
I know. If Chelsea get another centre back injured, they can fill their team of injured players, and it would be their first 11. That's something that I know, Patrick, you mentioned before you got cut off. Like, you have to factor in the amount of injuries they've had and the amount of players out. I mean, it isn't 1 or 2; it's literally 9 players, first team players as well.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't sure. Can you not hear me? Am I coming through clear?
Yeah.
Wicked. Yeah, people aren't factoring that in, or maybe they are, and they're being a bit disingenuous. I mean, I hate Chelsea. I hope they finish 13th, 14th, 15th, whatever it is. But when I saw that injury list, and then I saw Sterling drop after 3 minutes, and then we saw who else got injured? Pulisic as well. They've got a whole first team full of injured players, so that is going to have something on it. I like Graham Potter. Personally, I wanted him to stick it out at Brighton and then be the next England manager. But obviously, when a club of Chelsea stature come calling, you're going to have to take that call because, like someone said in the comments, Brighton aren't as consistent as people thought they were. But the reason why Potter got the plaudits is because he had a lot of tactics and know how to beat the big teams in the big games. But if you look at his home record over the last 2 or 3 seasons, he won 5 in one season, 4 in another. His actual win record, win-loss was crap. But then you also have to factor in it's Brighton, and like Cal said, they got Mupay, however you say it, and Danny Welbeck up top. They got crap players. I'll say no, actually that's not true. They got some good players there as well, but it's Brighton, isn't it? One of them ones.
Yeah. Chelsea fans, let us know what you think and feel in the comment sections. We really do want to know. Hit like and share buttons as well. We will move on soon. We are going to be talking about the Mudryk HIJACK FA Cup previews, title race, Joao Felix as well. Lots of breaking news on that this afternoon. I did want to touch as well on Tottenham because you won. It feels like the first time in a while. You beat Palace. You battered Palace, as it were. Talk to me. Talk to me, Patrick.
Yeah, feeling good, man. It's been a long time coming. We needed that. I was worried. I mean, I thought we'd beat them, as I said in the thing. I said 3-1, but I was more in hope than actual reality. I was going into that game very nervous and very worried because we know Palace at home, 8 o'clock on, they were going to be up for it, and they've got a good, fluid front three. Zaha, Elise, and Eze, good players, good technicians, can move the ball around. And I was a bit scared going into it. First 15 minutes, we looked really good. Then we fell away. They absolutely battered us for the last 10 or 15 minutes. But then in the second half, we turned it on and we just put them to the sword. So good performance, what we'd like to see more of. And yeah, just gets us back on track. So it's good.
Yeah, I just want to address the viewers. Yes, I know that the Tottenham one had the least views, but they were the 3 topics we were starting with. So it's third because it was the third most voted for. Only 9% of the viewers wanted to talk about Tottenham.
Really? That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those weird weeks for you where you won, so it's kind of like, meh.
Yeah, no one wants to talk about it, which is good.
No more Daniel Levy outs and they
No, Kaz, Levy out all the way. Even when we was 3 and 4-0 up, if you watch the game on Sky Sports, we were still screaming Levy out. So it's always going to be the same energy now. I'm going to put the
same kind of annotations when it comes to the Glazers and people that don't understand stuff. Look, the guy just bought you a shiny new toy in a stadium. How much money? Same thing with Emirates back in 2006. They had to pay a lot of it out for it. They had to suffer a bit with transfers, not enough money because they had to pay for the stadium. He's put money into your club. He had 170 million. Yeah, was spent in the summer. I know a couple of them players from January, but they still count because they still bought them and he said yes to them. He spent some good money on you boys.
It's also a lot of false promises, and he's also led us down a false dawn yet again. When we moved from White Hart Lane to Wembley, we were told that it wouldn't affect transfer budgets. Pochettino would still have money to spend. We went 2 windows without spending a penny. That's unheard of, never been done before. Poch still worked his magic and got us into the Champions League fighting. In the end, it fell away. We've been told, when we moved to the new stadium, with all the money coming in, the increased revenue in seat sales, increase, obviously, that the stadium's open longer. We've got Guns N' Roses concerts, Lady Gaga concerts, boxing this, NFL that. And still we're struggling to raise 35 million to buy a fullback. So, Kaz, I don't want to hear it, man.
No, man, you got 50 million or so.
Lady Gaga, you know. It's
I
true.
know.
It's true. You guys are basically the new O2 more than a football club now. It's crazy.
Literally.
I want to ask Cal a question. Though.
Leave me alone, bro.
Cal,
Just let me sit in the corner, brother. Just allow me, Terry, bro.
Can't allow it, my guy. Let me ask you this: are Liverpool going to catch Tottenham? Because I know you had a bad result the other night, but I feel like you two are the leaders of the chasing pack of the big boys this season. Like, will you finish above Tottenham at the very least?
No, Terry. I was very consistent from the beginning of the season. If we had got a centre midfielder in the summer, I genuinely think we would have been competing for the league. I said before going into January, if we do not get a centre midfielder in January, we're not getting top 4. We're not getting top 4 as things stand. Like, Gakpo, good signing. Just good in my opinion. We're not getting top 4. We're not better than the teams above us. There's a reason we are where we are in the league. Like, we've conceded the most big chances this season. We've got the worst conversion rate of big chances. Like, this is not a coincidence. Our midfield gets run through. I was going to use an analogy, I won't, but our midfield gets run through, put it that way.
Diarrhea.
Yeah.
What happened to Melo?
Egal, what are we doing there, bro?
Egal, you're starting a really good point here, because you know what? If I just jog my memory just a little bit, I'm pretty sure Tottenham won the transfer window. I'm pretty sure Liverpool dropped 100M on Nunez. I don't know what the violins are for. What are the violins for, darling?
Colleen, don't do that. Don't do that. Colleen, don't do that.
What's going
We
on?
didn't spend 100 million on Nunez.
Well, technically you did in euros.
Let's go! Come on!
We didn't spend 100 million on Nunez. We spent 64, rising to 100 million euros.
What about Nunez? I need to hear from you.
100 million.
I want your opinion on Nunez, Cal. You're not a liar. You're an honest guy, because I'm hearing Captain Chaos like that's a good thing, right? I'm hearing the misses aren't a problem from a lot of Liverpool fans. How do you see it? Kopish are the most honest Liverpool channel on the internet, in my opinion. That's why I've always backed you guys.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on Nunez?
The misses are a massive problem. Anyone who says they're not, I don't get. Like, with all due respect to other Liverpool fans, I can't sit here and speak for all Liverpool fans. I can only speak for myself. And it feels as though we're babying Nunez. What I will say is I think a lot of the criticism has been very overboard because it fits the narrative. You're seeing big accounts like Domino's and stuff like that tweeting, and yeah, on the surface is banter, but when you've got these same companies talk about mental health issues, it's like, yeah, let's draw it back a little bit. So I do think it's gone a bit overboard, but at the same time, I can't sit here as a Liverpool fan after years of cussing Timo Werner, then turn around and say, it's calm because he's making good runs and he's opening up spaces, because he's effectively there to put away the chances that he's getting. I said from the beginning when we signed Nunez, we're not going to see the best of Nunez this season. Might not even see the best of him next season. It might be the season after. The problem with that is, will we have a team good enough for him when he hits his peak? And will he want to stay when he's in his peak? Because we might not be a good enough team. So Nunez isn't the guy right now. But again, where I do feel sorry for Klopp is I don't think Nunez was meant to come in and be the guy straight away. It was meant to be Jota, and Nunez was meant to be easing his way in. But because of the injuries to Jota, etc., Nunez has been fast-tracked and it hasn't worked. We're in a bad way. In a very bad way.
Oh,
cry me a
whatever you lot, man.
that was a lovely monologue there, Cal. That was lovely.
What? £67 million substitute? I don't know. I ain't having it.
I never said he would be a substitute.
Cal, we said it on your channel yesterday, man. What about Pep Linders?
I see what this is.
It's the second one. It's the second scapegoat. Pep Linders, the only assistant manager in history to get so much.
You guys talking this bullying campaign? Yeah, all right. You just all right. Go on.
Why is it like you said it? So I want you to explain it in front of all these guys that doesn't watch Kopish, which you guys should. Why Pep Linders, man? Why not Klopp?
Oh no, bro. I'll be honest. I'm in a lot of bad books with a lot of Liverpool fans right now because I've been calling out Klopp. I've been calling out Klopp since the summer, and it's not going down well. So Klopp, for me, FSG is still hold the greatest percentage of what's going wrong. But Klopp's not far behind, and Klopp's overseeing Linda's, so Klopp takes the Linda's smoke as well. Because if basically, I've got 2 kids. If my kids start doing a madness in the house, effectively it falls on me because I'm meant to be keeping them in check. So that's where it kind of boils down to Pep Lijnders. Pep Lijnders is doing a madness behind the scenes, it seems. But if he's being allowed to do it, then I blame Klopp for that.
Wait. Wasn't Pep Lijnders around? Sorry, when you won the league and and you won the Champions League, and you were you were challenging City for a number of years. Is that the same Pep Lijnders?
The quadruple man. The quadruple man.
Is it the same lad?
That
The one who
is.
It's the same lad. Oh right. Okay. Just wanted to make
Callum,
sure.
I haven't spoken to you in a long time. I'm genuinely asking you a genuine question. No insult to injury. Is this the end of a cycle?
Yeah, of course it is.
So it's done.
I love it.
Say again?
So it's done. You don't see you guys even trying to hold on to it and bandaging it like Tottenham do.
But whoa, little side shot there.
Nah, you know what? That's not my battle. I'm not saying
I mean, I don't know what there is to bandage a girl, bro. If I'm gonna be honest, what was there to bandage?
You said it yourself. The midfield. Couldn't you guys get midfielders in this summer? I mean, in the January.
If it was up to me,
I remember, but they can't spend money though. Egal, because spending money on rebuilds is bad.
Yeah, by
So
the way,
they don't
Egal,
wanna spend
you're
more
forgetting
money
one
this
thing.
January.
Egal, they'd
It's
rather
official.
get 35 million Gakpo rather than a midfielder right now.
That's ridiculous.
50 million Gakpo, sorry.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm hoping your hijack of Gakpo ends like your hijack of Darwin, because I'm so glad we kept Rashi and you guys got Darwin, because the levels aren't comparable. But Cole, you put on a great point. I've seen Liverpool fans shamelessly blaming Pep Lijnders for this. So for me, I want all the praise for those trophies to go to Pep Lijnders as well. If he's influential enough to ruin your club, he must be influential. He must have been more important than Jurgen Klopp. Has to be. Surely.
So the reason why I think Lijnders is getting a lot more smoke than he was getting praise is because, look, I'll just be real. It's the book, innit? Like, he did a press tour in the summer when he should have been on the training field coaching players. Like, I've never seen a number 2 talk as much as he's P. Diddy of Liverpool Football Club right now, dancing in the videos, in the background, popping champagne. I don't want to see that from my assistant manager. With all due respect, I want to see my assistant manager sit down, celebrate goals, and cuss players when they're not doing what they're doing. I don't want to see them doing book tours, doing YouTube videos about tactics we used to beat Barcelona, doing flipping interviews all the time he gets a chance, like talking about how Arsenal wanted to get him to Arsenal to be Arteta's assistant manager. I want to hear that. Why are you talking? Why are you in the media more than Klopp? So that's part of the issue. Plus, it feels as though we've had a change of tactics. And if you look at how Pep Lijnders was playing in Holland with his team, it's very similar or identical to how Liverpool are playing. He got sacked for playing how he was playing in Holland, but he seems to be getting all the control in the world. And the reason why I believe he's getting control is because I think he's being groomed to take over from Jurgen Klopp. And if that happens, Terry, I love this channel. You will not see me on here, bro.
Man's getting groomed. The fact you use the word groomed as well is hilarious. Like, man's getting groomed, bro. It's gonna be interesting. This super chat here says apparently Liverpool are in for Matheus Nunes, and it's almost done. If true, I don't understand why
We can't
just buy him in Lisbon.
He can't play till summer though. We can't play him till next season because he can't be registered for 3 clubs. It's stupid. Like, it's stupid. Why would you go and get him when you could have got him in the summer?
Yeah,
Klopp turned him down. He was waiting for Liverpool. Hence why he didn't make a move to another club. He was waiting for Liverpool. We turned him down, and look where we are now.
And now
throw on Harvey Elliott as a right.
I said the same thing.
Has Pep Lijnders said yes to it now?
I don't know.
I said the same thing about Mudryk as well. I said Arsenal could have got him in the summer, but I decided to opt not to, and they could have got him for cheaper. Now look, it happens.
It is. I was going to ask one more thing. Michael Edwards leaving. I'm seeing a lot of Liverpool fans blaming that on how your recruitment and everything's changed since then. Do you agree with that?
No, the recruitment. All right. So Michael Edwards' job is to bring a list of players to Jurgen Klopp and Pep Lijnders, whoever it be, and say, do you want these players? Which ones do I go in for? Michael Edwards did his job. Julian Ward's been doing his job. Every player that Klopp's wanted, he's got in. That's the job. His job isn't to go and be a scout and build a team. That's Jurgen's job. So if Jurgen says, go and get this player, please. And Julian Ward goes and gets the player. Julian Ward's done his job. For me, it's very telling that Michael Edwards leaves. Julian Ward comes into the role and is now leaving at the end of the season. That for me is very telling. The fact that you've lost 2 sporting directors in the space of 12 months. That is damning on the team and the squad. And sorry, not the squad, the backroom staff. That's damning.
Clearly, they're not listening to them then.
Well, it's also you've got to remember, like they're on their way out as well. FSG, I think that's the saving grace for Liverpool.
Are they, bruv? Are they?
Yeah, they'll go. They will go, in my opinion. Wayne Sage here says, "I thought Spurs had the best summer window." Do you still agree with that, Patrick? That you had the best, that you won the summer transfer window?
I never said we did. I don't know where. Like,
you and George,
we had a good window. But I never said we had the best window. I never said that. So some Spurs fans did. I agree. Some Spurs fans said we would challenge. George said we would challenge. I said no, we wouldn't challenge. We'd be in for the top 4, which we are. So we address certain issues or holes in the squad, and obviously there's other sides that we didn't. So yeah, not all Spurs fans thought that.
Yep.
Did you not call it a fantastic window?
Again, I can't remember what word I used exactly to describe it.
The reason why I say that is because on July 19, 2022, you tweeted out poking fun of Gooners, and you're saying, and you use those words. So I'm just saying.
Okay.
Wow.
Fair enough. But to say we won the summer transfer window, I never said that.
So,
Egal, I don't know if I back it. I wasn't there, but I back it. You 100% said that.
Well, Bowley will try and win the league the same as he has does with the Dodgers. Spend big and hope they win the league. The same thing he does with the Dodgers. 3 World Series finals, 1 win is what honestly. Now, I don't know if getting to 3 World Series finals and winning one of them is a good or bad or a different thing. I have no idea because I don't watch rounders. So. I don't know. I have been to a baseball game though. I went to a baseball game in Chicago. It was very good.
Why is there a World Series when it's only based in America?
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into American sports because that's a whole other thing.
They always say that.
It's not. I learned when I was at the baseball. You know, like monkey nuts, where you get the peanuts inside the shell.
Yeah.
Eat the shell of them. The shell's really nice. It's like really salty and savory, like a salty crisp. Yeah. I didn't think. I'm not even capping. Like legit, the guys that try it, I ate it. I was like. It's really good. Makes you want beer. It makes you want drink really quickly, but it's really good. But there we go. Next subject voted for by the viewers was MYKHAILO MUDRYK hijack. Kind of sticking with the Chelsea situation. In terms of the latest with this, it's very interesting. Arsenal have now have explicitly told the player and Shakhtar Donetsk they will not get into a bidding war for the player. They're not going to do it. But remain confident because he has told them that they're his number 1 choice. But Chelsea's confidence is now there is a confidence at Chelsea that they'll be able to outbid Arsenal, and that they're also slowly convincing the player to join. From your point of view, Egal, this is a major target you could have got in the summer. You've had 2 bids rejected. Chelsea are pursuing him hard. It's slowed down your progression. What do you think is going to happen, and what do you want your club to do? Spend that money, bring in the player, win the league, or go elsewhere, or spend nothing? Like, how do you see this going, Egal?
If Chelsea bid 90 million, you walk away. If Chelsea bidding 75, 80, you match it, and the player comes to our club. That's basically what it is. We're not gonna go over the valuation. The club has their valuation. They've done this numerous times. If we can't get him for the valuation that we deem fit, there's many other players we can also find, although he does have a higher potential than some of these other players that we go for. So we do have a cutoff, and I think that's where we draw the line. Personally, I wouldn't walk away from this deal. I would try to get him done, but I'm not going to go upwards of I don't think the club's going to go upwards of 75 to 80 million pounds. I think they're going to cut off at 70 million euros, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know how much you're going to end up spending, but did the director, that Nicolini guy, say something like he believes he's better than Anthony. We paid 80 million for Anthony. Shakhtar ain't holding out. So how much are you going to end up spending? It's quite a lot of money. I don't think it'll be 80. I think that's a bluff.
They also mentioned Jack Grealish.
Is there a problem here? Is there a problem here with Arsenal fans? And I'm not saying all, some. some Arsenal fans seem really reluctant for their club to spend money, almost like, Jess has called this out, and I think she's right. Some, it isn't all, but like blocking. Oh, but what about the pathway of Marquinhos? What about the pathway of Vieira? If we spend this much money, what about the development of this individual? Is this Arsenal fans not wanting to spend big? Because if you spend another 100 million, there's then no excuse. Like if you don't spend any money and you come second by a couple of points, it's but look how much more money City spend than us. Where if you spend 120 million this window on Joao Felix and Mudryk, and you don't win the league, there's no excuse remaining because you've spent massive.
I think you're overanalyzing it, Terry, a little bit. It's
No.
not
So answer the question. And why are some Arsenal fans?
I am answering the question, but
why are they not bothered about spending?
It's not about spending. We've spent money on sorry about that. We spent money on players in the past, like Nicolas Pepe. We've spent money on Ben White. We spent money on Thomas Partey. We spent money, but we've never spent this type of money in the January window in a long time, since maybe Aubameyang. We're comfortably okay with the club spending money. That's not the issue. The issue is we don't see at this moment in time, if the club does this things certain ways, and the fans can see that the club do things certain ways, and that's all it is. We're pointing out the practices that the club do. We're not pointing out, oh, we don't want to spend money. It's not like any fan is going out there saying, oh, I don't want to spend 80+ million. We're saying the club is not going to do that.
Pepe PTSD, isn't it?
That don't make sense to me. As a fan of football, that makes sense. What the club is, the Glazers have a way of doing things, right? Don't mean I agree with them. Do you agree it's right to move away from your target? And I say that because look, if you look at this season,
I do.
Let me just say this. If you look at this season alone, this is how much money clubs have spent so far this season. You've spent the least amount and you're first in the league. Okay. If you spent another £100 million, which might be slightly outside the way the club operate, and you win the league, is that not better than not spending it and coming second? What would you
Terry,
prefer?
You're almost making it seem like if we don't spend the money on Mudryk, we're not going to find an alternative.
I'm asking you a question because I'm confused, not by people saying don't spend above and beyond, go elsewhere. That makes sense. I asked you a very specific question. I'm talking about Arsenal fans that have got this weird of, but we can't buy this youngster because what about this guy? Like, what's that all about? It's very specific.
I don't think anyone cares about, no disrespect to Marquinhos, I don't think anybody cares about Reece Nelson, Marquinhos in the scheme of getting in Mudryk. Personally, I haven't seen anybody say, oh, let's not sign Mudryk because it's going to hurt ESR. I haven't heard anyone say that. In actual fact, people have said, let's sign this guy so ESR can play in his more natural position and drop deeper into the midfield for the foreseeable future. They view him as someone who can play in that Xhaka role. So in my opinion, Terry, what you're talking about might be something that you've heard in the past, but right now in this current situation, we've moved past that. We're looking at trying to win things. We're looking at trying to continue to fix the squad and get further. No one in the Arsenal fan base is holding on to sentimental value for players, because at this moment in time, we're looking at something bigger. And if anyone's holding on to that, please show me who it is.
So if you don't spend money this January, if you turn around and say, we're not spending what Shakhtar want for Mudryk, and we're not spending the loan fee on Joao Felix, and you don't bring anybody in of that level or above, are you happy because that's your process, or are you disappointed because it means you may not win the league?
No, if you don't get Joao Felix and you don't get Mudryk, you need to bring in somebody, because we currently don't have options off the bench to fix this team. Even with Jesus and ESR coming back,
to answer my question, then,
more.
if you don't bring them in because they're too expensive and that's not within your model, and you don't bring players that are as good or better, are you disappointed or happy because that's the process?
100%. Terry, we have to bring in an attacker in this window, minimum. One attacker across the front three. One attacker. We need some more squad depth in that attack, minimum. One player minimum. And that player has to be of a certain level of quality where when they come in, we don't need them to adjust. We need somebody that comes in that is of a level of quality, and we're going to have to pay for that level of quality. I get that. But at the same time, we're not going to go and break our bank where in the future, next time when we want a midfielder or a defender or a right back, they're going to say, oh, you paid this much for Mudryk in January. We know we can hamstring these guys. As a club, we try to protect ourselves. And that's why Arsenal have only made one bad signing since 2019, because they do this. See, the only one signing they messed up and they paid everything was Nicolas Pepe. So hence, it's been working. Why would I go against it?
I'm not saying you should. My job is to ask questions and get direct, straight answers. Yeah, it's an interesting one for me. I think from my point of view, and I'm not saying you've done this. I haven't seen you do this at all. I just think there are some Arsenal fans and from a previous era maybe who used to love celebrate. They were like, yeah, we come fourth or third, but at least our net spend was better than the team that won the league. And I think Arsenal fans have got to get out. Some Arsenal fans have got to get out of that mentality. Fuck your net spend because it ain't even real. Net spend does not exist.
That's what Liverpool are doing now. That's
yeah,
how
nobody
Liverpool
cares about
are.
net spend. Talk to the people who are angry about Ben White's wages, Ben White's pay, getting paid, getting whatever he got. When Ben White came in for 50 million, I said it could end up being a bargain. A lot of people were upset. Yeah. So personally,
I agree with you, Egal. I'm glad you answered it the way you did because you're right. Arsenal fans should be demanding extra qualities brought in because I kind of get. Listen, this is the way it works. So generally in January, you pay a little bit more than you typically would in the summer. That's the typical rule in transfers. But Arsenal were in a unique position that nobody predicted at the beginning of the season. So for me, I think hemorrhaging 20 or 30 million pound more than you normally would to win the Premier League is worth it. Because when you lift that trophy, do you know how many people are going to... Some will do it, and this is what you'll get. Some will say, yeah, but you have to spend money to get there. Every motherfucker in the history of winning the league for the last 40 years have been... Go back to that Liverpool team that was winning in the 70s and the 80s. High spenders. Man United in the 90s. High spenders.
It's only Leicester in it, really.
Blackburn high spenders.
Blackburn. Leicester were an anomaly and they couldn't maintain it because they weren't spending money. Like, this is the one thing the reason Arsenal, the reason you guys fell off from challenging for titles, but still were a top 4 team is because they had a brilliant club, massive club, spent a lot of money, had one of the best managers the world has ever seen, but you didn't spend big. If you guys would have spent big, and yes, you went to the Emirates and there was all these reasons, but this is what you guys have got to do. And this is why Liverpool have fallen off so quickly because they've not continued to spend as they did 3 to 4 years ago when they were winning everything. And that's the adjustment fans have got to ask for if you want to maintain that top level.
This is my take. The ball's in Chelsea's court. You're bluffing. You don't want MYKHAILO MUDRYK to the level that you actually are saying you want him. You want Enzo Fernandez.
I think they do.
Actually want him.
I know. I think
they do.
1 second. If you actually want MYKHAILO MUDRYK, put 90 million down. We walk away.
Have
you don't want him to that level? Then
have you not seen Chelsea? I'll tell you.
I will tell you this right now.
Chelsea's transfer strategy. Yeah.
Arsenal Football Club is not going to do what Chelsea does. We're not going to go and drop 90 million in a January transfer window on a player and then have him signed down for a couple of years and he doesn't even benefit us in the long run. We're going to make sure we keep to our valuation. That's the reality. And guess what? If it does cost us a league, it will be very bad and we need to sign somebody. But I'm not saying walk away from him and not sign nobody.
I'm just saying,
I don't believe Chelsea Football Club even want MYKHAILO MUDRYK. They are bluffing. They don't want him. They don't even want to come near the valuation. They're literally trying to drive the price up. And it's absolutely a power play from Todd Bowley and these guys because they can see everything that he's been doing since he's come in has been trying to rattle cages. And he genuinely doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Chelsea Football Club is a joke of a club. They don't know how to even recruit the right players for their positions. They're trying to sign a left winger in a team that needs every single position sorted out in the coming years. Get your money right, get your situations right, and stop talking bullshit.
He can play left and right, to be fair. He can play left.
Yeah, I think they want him, bro. You know what their transfer strategy?
Anyways,
okay,
I'm
look.
done.
Enzo Fernandez. Liverpool wanted him. Chelsea said, "No, I think I'll have that. If they want him, we want him." Mudryk, Arsenal, we'll have him as well. Then that's what Chelsea just copying everyone else's.
In fairness, Chelsea been doing that since Roman came in. You go all the way back to John Obi Mikel, William,
Sidwell, Scott Parker.
Yeah, loads of them. Dennis here says, stop putting words that Arsenal fans have not said. I've definitely read. I've seen the tweets, my friend. We want the club to spend money, but we want it spent smartly. And listen, Dennis, I agree. You want it spent smartly. You don't want to hemorrhage on players regularly, but maybe this has come to Arsenal sooner than expected. Liverpool are certainly going through it in the last few transfers they've made. There comes a point where you can't pick up good quality players cheaply because everyone's cottoned on to how good you are at finding talent. So what do? They add a damn premium. They add a premium to these deals. That will come as well. But yeah, thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. If Arsenal don't get Mudryk, which backups do you recommend given the desired lack of alternatives to Eddie, Saka, and Martinelli, especially the next 2 months? We desperately need 2 reinforcements. Yeah, I mean, Colleen, who would you go if you can't get Mudryk or Joao Felix? Who do you go for?
I mean, immediately I was just thinking Trossard. He was the first person who came to mind. if I didn't think we get Mudryk, just because Premier League proven can do a job. And the reality, I'm thinking much more short term, if I'm being honest with you. And I think so are I'm not saying the Cronkies are as well, but they are obviously putting more money in because they know we are in a title. We're in a title challenge right now. We are. It's a fact. So it's either now or never. We can't risk not getting anyone. And I think it'd be a solid addition. I know I've heard a lot of shouts around Zaha. I think his contract's up in the summer, right? Not too sure that's I'm not sure how well that would fare in January and whether Arsenal would do it. But to be honest with you, I want Felix. I really do. I want him bad.
I was Arsenal, I get Musa Diaby, man. Cheap, left-footed, inverted. Musa Diaby from Bayern Leverkusen.
The problem with Arsenal is that, not the problem, because it's obviously so far so good, it's starting to work out, is that Arsenal are now under Edu and Arteta are never going to now be that club who does those impact 6-month signing loans or anything like that just to get you to where you need to be. So I'd be very curious to see who was on their top 3 list when it comes to Felix and Mudryk, because we're just never going to be that kind of team under those two whilst at the club, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But when you've got to play a game of chess, which is what this is with Mudryk, Shakhtar's bar's up here, the player wants out, is doing a lot of stuff on social media. Arsenal's sticking to their guns. They're kind of speaking to Chelsea and other things. It's going to be dragged out until the end of this January window, I believe. So this is where you've got to hold your nerve, or just cut your losses and be like, okay, this has taken too long. Drop a certain amount on X, Y, and Z who you know you can get straight away.
Listen, I agree with a lot of what you're saying there. Maybe not the personnel, but the attitude. Joao Felix, I mean, we're going to talk about this later, but it comes up nicely. Very interesting news about Joao Felix today. So first of all, you've had Matt Law and the Telegraph, a number of journalists there state that Arsenal are now stepping up their pursuit of him. And there was a Spanish expert who has come out and said that Arsenal will definitely sign Joao Felix this summer. And I actually think Joao Felix could be a better signing than Mudryk. I think he's better. He's got, I mean, theoretically, he could be the best player at your club as soon as he arrives. If he indeed adapts to the Premier League, we all know that kind of prerequisite. But that kind of signing, what do rivals think there, Patrick? If Arsenal sign Joao Felix, do they win the league, in your opinion? Is that a good enough deal to like take them over the line like that?
Oh, I thought they'd already won the league, Terry. The way Egal and Kane have been talking, I thought that was already done. So I don't know. I thought I was already done, man. But to be fair, I don't know, to be honest, because City will definitely turn up a gear. But Arsenal right now are favourites. So if they add someone of his quality, then yeah, why not? So yeah, if Arsenal,
right,
you what? Sorry.
Man United with Fabrizio Romano saying Man United are 100% interested and want him and have approached Jorge Mendes to negotiate the deal.
That's true, but in the same, so this is what you'll be very careful with the aggregators. That's true, but what he actually said is both Man United and Arsenal have today reached out to him to say they definitely want him. But the Man United aggregators only show that United bit, and Arsenal aggregators are only showing the Arsenal bit. He actually mentioned both.
Fair enough.
So Man United and Arsenal both want him. This is what's going on with Joao Felix. They both want him. United have put a bid in so far of about 4 million. The new reports from Spain today have said around 12.5, 13 million all in will get him. But Arsenal have now, I mean, listen, this is coming from the Telegraph and Matt Law. Arsenal are really serious about this. Arsenal really want to make this happen. Like legitimately want to make this happen. So for me, I'm intrigued. I think I would think Arsenal are the favourites anyway. If they bring in Joao Felix, that's levels. That's legitimate levels. Legitimate. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, Patrick.
Zach here
What's
says,
that?
well, you got to think Dean Jones said this yesterday. A year and a half ago, Arsenal went into the summer transfer window not too sure who they could land. They knew what they wanted, but they didn't know who they could land because the club was in transition, the way they were being looked at and viewed. You fast forward 18 months, they could sign one of the best young football players in the world. And again, the majority of the credible reports say that Joao Felix's preference would be Arsenal over Chelsea and Man United. And we kind of get why. And that's one of the reasons why I'm scared of Arsenal, because they're
it's with best young footballer who's been stuttering. He's not like literally like an Enzo Fernandez who is literally at his peak, at his prime. Felix had a decent World Cup, but before that, he wasn't doing anything at Atletico Madrid. He's not hit the levels which we all expected him to hit. So he comes with obviously a lot of hype and a lot of fanfare, but you know, we're yet to see if he's going to live up to the billing.
I disagree. What about the Atletico Madrid system? The way they even hinder nowadays, it's not the Simeone team of 2010 to 20 or whatever it might be, 10 years. We're talking about Simeone. That team is on decline. It's just the La Liga's on decline in itself of the teams as well. It's not hard to really get results there anymore.
Yeah, but it's still when Terry's saying that obviously they can land Felix. Yeah, the name Joao Felix, he's a name, but right now in terms of the player,
that man's a talent, man.
He's a talent, but he's not been performing.
Yeah,
and I know you've given your reasons, which are fair. But
yeah, but it's like Marcus Rashford. All right, Marcus Rashford. I'm not saying he's got as much ability as Felix as a natural football player, but he was also in the bin. And then you get a manager like Arteta or Ten Hag, someone that's good at man management, bringing the best out of a player. Then all you got is like, wow, I've got this absolute talent that I saw back in Benfica or his first season for Madrid.
Patrick just doesn't want to think that anything. There's too much positivity around Arsenal. He's like
struggling for 40 million Pedro Porro.
Yeah, Pedro Porro is a good player. But what
Patrick's falling on the sword for Man City. That's what it is. It's okay.
I'm being real. That's all it is. Sorry if you don't like it. I don't have to agree with what you say.
I get your point, Patrick. I mean, I just think the style of football is massively important there. This comment super chat here says, for me, save the money on Mudryk and get Felix, use the rest for a midfielder. And that's, again, I think that's maybe what Arsenal maybe should do. Go and get Joao Felix and then bring in another central midfielder of some sort if they can't get Mudryk and go back in the summer. Big up to all your content, Terry. It's helped me both my mental health and objective debating skills coming from a law student. Bro, listen, mental health wise, that's what we're kind of here for as well. It wasn't a plan of ours. I'm not going to be one of those weird sanctimonious prats who says, oh, I do this for everybody's mental health. But I get that it does help. So thank you very, very much indeed. And we even featured on Sidemen last night, which was kind of cool, reacting to I know they saw it on Egal's TikTok because Egal stole my content. I'm joking, Egal. I'm joking. It's not like I don't react to other people's things. I'm playing. But yeah, that was nice. It was nice to kind of feature on that. And I was glad they were laughing at something Lee said, not me. I'm not going to lie. They weren't laughing at me. You know what I mean? But we have just had the greatest super chat in the history of the Football Terrace come through. And I don't know who Rachel is. I don't know how she knows, but Rachel is spot on with everything she has just said there. It's absolutely spot on. It's true, like a baby. It's like a baby holding a big, giant cooking apple. 100% it is. So thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much.
Yeah, pause.
It's not my fault. Mate, it's straight facts. It's one of our shows. That's what we're probably for, but there we go.
Yo.
Thank you very much. True.
I tell Jess to stop texting. He's in, man.
I told you, honestly, I'm very lucky. When I do like sports days and stuff, I can run the three-legged race by myself, bro. It's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's just easy things.
Of course.
Dyke here comes for you, Egal. He says, calling our club a joke, Egal. Where is Champions League for Arsenal?
That's not going to help you finish 8th this season.
Ooh.
Shots fired. Shots fired there. Shots fired.
Egal, you look like you're about to cry, man.
Joshua here says, if Chelsea were to get Mudryk, it basically confirms they only go after other clubs' targets, and the new shiny toy when the midfield still sucks, is what Joshua says here. Terry, the club are clear about their evaluations of prospects, players, and they refuse to compromise their principles as a result. And you know what? I respect that to a point. And I spoke about Man United in the past, not underselling and overbuying. Equally, I told Liverpool fans this for years, and they lied. They go, you're lying, Terry. We're never going to spend money like other clubs. And then all those memes coming out of Klopp saying he'd never spend like other clubs when he starts dropping big money on players, because at some point you move into that field where you have no choice but to renew. There'll come a point with Bukayo Saka, because I think Bukayo Saka is one of the best wide players in the world. There'll come a point where you're going to have to pay him 250, 300, 350 to keep him. There'll come a point.
Pay him 250 in his next contract.
Exactly. But it was only a year and a half ago that some Arsenal fans would laugh at clubs paying a player that much. There comes a point where you either pay the going rate or you lose the players. And so there is a evaluation, but your club will have to adjust that to stay at the top. Just ask Callum if that's true or not. It is. It's not even a dig. It's a reality of the game. Fans don't want to spend the money because they don't know how much money is available to strengthen other areas in this window and the summer. I hear you. I hear you, Zach. That's a very good point. There's a very good challenge to the question being raised. Dex says, "I don't care. Spend whatever it takes to win this title." And I think you agree with that, don't you, Colleen? Just spend the goddamn money.
Just spend it. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, if you got the money, spend it. If you ain't got it, move on to the next one. I don't need this on January 6th. Let's go. We've got a title to win, unlike others in this chat here today.
You know,
I know.
what?
I know.
Can I say something? Yeah, I want to say something, and it will backfire regardless because I know what this chat's like. Hypothetically, Arsenal this great season, Arsenal lose to Tottenham, which is very much likely. It can happen. It is at Spurs. You only take points out of each other's, out of each other all the time, out of each other's grounds. Somehow Man United beat City, which I think is possible. Then somehow we come to the Emirates and beat you guys will get a result. We're only a few points behind you lot. Can you imagine that?
I can. Yeah.
It's not me getting giddy, but I'm talking hypothetically. It can happen. It is football. Things.
Are you trying to? So what are you saying? Are you bigging up?
I'm just saying you're great, amazing season.
Sorry, guys. Before we go on, Callum, I know you got to shoot, mate. Thanks for jumping in, bro. Tom Little's replacing
pleasure.
him.
Cheers for having me. Nice one.
Loved it.
Yeah. Great show. Loved it. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Cal shooting off. Tom Little's replacing him. Substitution here late on. Go on, Colleen, Kaz, continue your conversation.
Sorry, I'm not saying we're going to be in no title race, but I can't imagine. I've never thought that we could potentially be like 3 points, 4 points behind Arsenal. That's crazy, right? Like it's possible, and then all of a sudden, it's like, what happens now? You know how crazy this year is, and I'm just saying, are you not confident that you're going to get past Tottenham and Man United? Be honest with yourselves.
I'm not sure about Tottenham. I mean, it's not like in the last recent years, the home team always wins. It's just the way it's been. It'd be interesting to see now that we're in this rich reign of form, the way the season's gone, etc., how much is on the line. It'll be interesting to see, but I'm not sure. But United at home, I think we'll win at the Emirates.
Also, one more question just for anybody. Newcastle. They held their own against Emirates. Don't give me the referee crap, Egal or whatever. That's some bullshit. Because I'll just talk about when Newcastle came to us. They should have penalty. We should have 2. But it happened, innit? I'm not trying to blame no refs, but Newcastle, I think they got a massive run in for top 4 this year, and it's looking like it's head on. And they're not even playing the likes of Saint Maximin or even starting with Callum Wilson every game. And they're going to spend. No, I'm talking about they will. I think they can finish top 4 this season.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that next season, Tom, Callum, have hope. Roy will no longer be here. We'll be getting in some Geordies in for sure. Newcastle are finishing in that top 4.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's hypothetically. I'm just saying things
Personally,
can happen, right?
I've joined Colleen on the title challenge. We're winning this thing.
We have no choice. It's almost halfway.
We're winning this thing.
Gal, who you lying to, bro? You
don't sound confident.
5 wins.
Bro, I'm very confident in the sense that at this moment in time, if we pull off the signing, and I'm looking at the schedule, I genuinely believe we can do it. Like it's not a situation where City have not looked themselves. Look at City, guys. They don't look hungry. They don't look like they're as good as they used to be defensively, attacking wise. I don't know what it is, but personally, when I'm looking at City facing Everton, Chelsea of years past, they take them to the sword in the first 20, 30 minutes. Now they're struggling with them. And I could see that going on for the next couple of weeks. Maybe Man United pick up some points off them. Maybe Tottenham lay on their sword, as my guy Patrick said. But at the end of the day, there's going to be more points to be dropped. And I think with this 5-point gap, it's not much. But who's to say come the next 5 games, you see that widen even further. But in the same breath, you could see it go the other way. But at this moment in time, I back us to continue our form. And I back Man City to continue their form. And if that happens, it just shows that they're dropping more points than us every single week.
The thing is, though, Egal, this is when City comes. This period of time, this 2-month period from January to February is where they just find it. And it all culminates with the Carabao Cup final against whoever they end up playing, where they win that, and then you can't stop them beyond that. The confidence they get, they just go through. If they can get through, I know they got through Chelsea a bit poorly, but I do not understand why Joao Cancelo was on right wing. It's like he's accidentally picked him there. He's put down 12 players and rubbed out the wrong one, so Cancelo's asked to do right wing for 45 minutes before he could take him off. What it will happen if they get through this run of games where they've got Chelsea, is it Tottenham twice and United?
Tottenham twice, in quick succession.
If they get through that with the equivalent, because I know one of them's in the cup, but if they get through that with the equivalent of 12 points, then that might just be the catalyst to set them on. And the difference I have with you lot and City is I know that they can go on these 15-game, 16-game runs to win titles. I don't know if you can do that yet. And you can go on multiple 7, 8-game runs, but it's them ones which go on for ages and ages and ages, which are the decisive ones.
Let me ask you this. How much of that squad has been refreshed? How much of that squad has been changed? How much of that squad has actually been revitalized to keep them to continue to push on to reach those standards? Because as Terry says all the time, and as other people have said, when you continue to win and you continue to stay at the top, eventually you stagnate. And what I'm seeing this season, I feel like it's a little bit of stagnation because they're depending so much on Haaland to get a big portion of their goals. The rest of the team are not reaching those levels. If they now see the rest of the squad chip in more and you see Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and all these guys start getting more goals, then I'll be like, you know what? I can see that. But at this moment in time, the way they're playing, I can see them dipping.
I didn't think they played all that well yesterday at Chelsea either. I thought Chelsea were technically overall the better team, and it came from a moment of brilliance from Jack Grealish to come on. And Mahrez at the back post was crap.
And even then, sorry to interject, Kaz, very sorry, mate. Even then, Kepa should have just grabbed the ball.
Yeah,
I thought that's
why did he leave his hands away? He could have just pushed it away.
It wasn't even
personally. Kepa needs to be investigated for that.
Yeah, that was so dodgy.
They need to check if him and Tony are like friends in a WhatsApp group or something, bro, because that was like betting stuff.
Yeah, that looked really weird.
And I'm because they're City and I'm United, I'm meant to be afraid of this team coming to Old Trafford where we've lost.
I ain't afraid of City. I'm not afraid.
I'm
not afraid of playing City. That doesn't mean I think we're definitely going to beat them 100%. They're not dangerous, so they can't beat us. But I'm excited about that game because Man United are in good form. Man United in the title race, though, I've been speaking about this for days.
No chance.
I'm saying this: these next 2 games are the acid test, or they're an acid test because
who are your next 2, Terry? Sorry,
we play City at home and then Arsenal away back to back.
Okay. Ooh.
So again, if you win them both and play well, win one, draw one, play well, win one, lose one, play well, you might look at yourselves and say, okay, definite top 4 or massive favourites for Champions League or in the title race. But we equally could get battered in both these games, look bad and go, yeah. And that's why I don't think Man United fans should be getting carried away with things right now. But the next 3 to 4 games for all of the top 6 are so decisive. And you mentioned earlier that City and Spurs play twice in very quick succession. And I have heard a rumor, Patrick, that you have stated on record that you want Spurs to lose both those games just so Arsenal don't win the league. Is that right?
100%. And people thought I was crazy for saying that. The thing is, it's actually like speaking to a lot of Spurs fans today, it's like 50-50. A lot agree with what I'm saying and the sentiment behind it. Some fans will say you never want your team to lose. But the reality is we play Man City literally back to back. So I can't remember when it is exactly, but I think we played them on January the 19th away, and then we played them Sunday the 5th of February at home. So in between, it's only Fulham sandwiched between those games. So after that, there's still 16 games left, 48 points left to play for. So it's not like we play City now and then we play City near to the end of the season, business end. There's still so much football left to be played for. And there's 6 points up for grabs there. We lose those 2 games. Nothing crazy. 1-0 loss here or there, 2-1 maybe. Then that means that City got +6 on Arsenal. Arsenal will start to wobble, and then we'll really see what Arsenal are made of. They have no more cushion, and it's literally pound for pound, blow for blow between City and Arsenal. We see what this Arsenal team are really made of.
But you losing those twice might hinder your top 4.
Yeah, exactly. So what happens if you lose those 2 games and United and Newcastle win those same weekends and suddenly you're 10, 12 points behind top 4?
We still got a lot of football left to be played. We can still catch that gap. We can still close that gap. It's 6 points. 6 points is not this. The thing is, people are like, oh, what if those 3 points or what if those 2 points is the difference? There's so many other games. Why would only people look at that City game as that's the reason why you missed out? There's so many other games. So I don't buy that. If like,
so let me ask you a question then, Patrick. Tottenham finished 5th, but Arsenal miss out on the league. or Spurs qualify for the Champions League but Arsenal win the title? Which would you take? You've got those two options only. Which one would you take?
Why can't Tottenham finish fourth or third and Arsenal finish second? Why does
Because
it have to be either
I
one,
want to
one or
understand.
the other?
I want to understand what matters more to you.
Okay, so, hit
Tottenham
me again.
achieving or Arsenal losing. So Spurs finish fifth, but Arsenal come second, or Spurs finish in the Champions League positions, but Arsenal win the league. Which of the two options would you take?
You're shameless. You're shameless for even.
You cannot be waiting this
I'm
long.
really-
I'm
Yes,
really
yes.
like, this is such a hard question because I do not want to see Arsenal win the league again. I really don't.
You've seen Arsenal win the
Also,
league before,
yeah,
though,
that's
so-
what I'm saying. Again, keyword again. I really don't, and especially as well. Put it into context as a Spurs fan. We finished above Arsenal how many seasons in a row, and got nothing to show for it. The one time Arsenal finish above us, they win the league. That would be disgusting. I won't
Patrick,
be able
let
to
me ask you
handle
a
that.
question.
So
If this was Chelsea and you had the choice between Chelsea and winning the league and getting top four, would you be okay with that?
I wouldn't really care if it's Chelsea. I'm a bit Arsenal.
So don't ever in
fiercest
your life
rivals.
ever again mention Chelsea as a higher rival. Any Tottenham fans,
What?
because that just goes to show.
Who's done that? No
lot of
Tottenham fan will
Tottenham
ever
fans do
say.
that.
No Tottenham fan. If
Colleen,
there be a
have you not heard this?
I've
They
never
try to
heard
say
that.
Chelsea are bigger rivals.
Hmm?
Chelsea are bigger rivals to Tottenham than Arsenal.
That's
I've never heard Egal. I've never heard that. I don't know what
under the
Tottenham fans you've been
Pochettino
talking to.
era. You guys kept saying, "Oh, Arsenal aren't even rivals anymore." You had Dele
Maybe
Alli.
like tongue in cheek, but
Yeah, that's tongue in
That's,
cheek banter.
yeah, that's banter, bro. That's banter
Yeah.
saying you're not there. It's like when Lee
Okay,
Gunner
anyways.
says Tottenham are not our rivals because they never win anything. Like he's actually like a lot of Arsenal fans get angry at Lee for saying it, and I'm like, oh, you guys are so dense. You're not seeing that it's an even bigger insult by basically saying they're so small, they're not a rival. Like, get with the program. Like it's a great insult, but no one seems to pick up on it. This comment here, sorry, says, told you last time, Terry, Tottenham's small club mentality, priority for Spurs is Arsenal not winning. And I agree, though. I think the reason that Spurs fans have been ENIC out, Levy out in the last few weeks isn't because United have overtaken them, isn't because Newcastle were better than them, isn't because Conte hasn't got a new deal. It's because Arsenal are top of the league. And if Arsenal were sitting 8th right now, Spurs would be happy being 5th. That's why, for me,
No.
ever achieve
No way. No
never
chance.
achieve
No
club,
chance.
ever.
That's
It's not a coincidence that the supporters trust do a statement to the club at this moment in time. Why didn't they do it years ago? It took you guys 60 years to realize you need to put a statement to the club.
No, this is nonsense, and you lot are being disingenuous. If you're a Tottenham fan, or if you're someone that watches the club, you'll know that we've been Levy out and ENIC out for forever. But
all of
because
you guys.
now, yeah, a lot of us.
When
The
was
guys
the
that
last
have been
time you guys
ENIC.
did a statement from the supporter
27
club?
of you turned up to the protest. 27 of you.
That was poor. I can't lie. That was poor. But that doesn't negate the fact that a lot of us are still Levy out and ENIC out. Now there's a bigger spotlight on it, but it doesn't mean that wasn't happening. It's always been there.
No, Patrick, this is what I'm asking you though. Why does it take now that your fans are uniting? Why does it take till now that you have people putting in supporters trust, putting in statements to the club? And
the supporters trust have always been doing that, Egal. They've always been doing that. It's whether the media wants to pick up on it or not. That's the difference. And the difference is now, and also as well, sometimes it's a timeline. Sometimes it's a domino effect and things have to happen. Conte's here now. We've got a world-class manager. We know what this guy can do if he's backed properly. Conte's come out and said numerous times, Daniel Levy, I need this. And Levy's given him half of it or a third of it. And we can see, we know now that Pochettino's had the same issues, Mourinho's had the same issues, and now Conte's having the same issues. So we can see what's what. And people are starting to wake up. There's people that have been, pro Levy and pro ENIC. Oh, they've delivered a stadium. They've delivered our best run of football. But they can see now that Conte still needs additions and he's not been backed. So a lot of people are waking up. So that is it. And also as well, you're starting to see now, like Terry said, even when we're 3 or 4-0 up, the fans are still singing it. You can hear it clearly on your Sky Sports, television, TV coming through. And it's about time, man. It's about flipping time.
So you've conceded St. Tottenham's Day this year already. And when it comes to you've conceded that Arsenal's going to finish above you. Am I wrong?
I haven't said that. You should do. But to say that we conceded it when there's so much football left to be played, let's see that. I'm not going to come out and say until it's mathematically possible, because you're putting words in my mouth. I've never said that.
There's no way Tottenham finish above Arsenal.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, there's a lot of football left to be played. Until it's mathematically possible, I'm not coming out and saying that. All I will say is that you lot are favourites to win the league, so you can take it however you want.
When we had this conversation a year ago, and people were saying Conte and Arteta, I said, you know what? Obviously, Conte is the better manager. At this point, can you admit that Mikel Arteta has been doing better with less?
What are you talking about? How long has Arteta been there, and how long has Conte been there?
It doesn't
Please
matter.
don't
You've
compare
got your
apples
guy
and
is a
oranges.
world-class
It does
manager.
matter. It
You're
does
saying
matter.
he's a better manager. How is he performing this bad? How is he performing this bad with world-class players?
This bad. We finished above you last season, and we're still in
No.
the mix for
I'm
the
not
top.
talking about last season. Stop deflecting.
Egal, allow it. You're talking shit.
I'm not talking shit.
You are talking shit.
I'm not talking shit.
You can't.
Arsenal are
You
the
can't
best
compare
team in the world right now based on points.
best team in the
Based on
world.
points accumulated in the league, we have the best points accumulated in the world in European football. And you have
this is what happened. You lot do too much
world-class
talking.
players. Let me go, and then you're done.
Way too much talking.
When I'm done, you can go. You have 2 world-class players. You have a world-class manager. You have better players, apparently. You have a team that finished in the Champions League. You have investment from that you could have got from Champions League. And yet, Mikel Arteta has us fighting at the top of the table. Your world-class manager had you guys in the conversation for top 4, and he's conceding it this early, saying, I don't know what to do. He's throwing his toys at the Prem. But yet, you still want to back Conte over Arteta. Be the bigger man and admit it that Antonio Conte is not doing it right now. And Mikel Arteta, right now, you'd rather have him over Conte.
No, I wouldn't. What are you on about? No, I wouldn't. Arteta has not won a league title yet, so you need to also hold out and chill out a bit.
Arteta's 1 league title away from equaling Conte's legacy in
Bro, has he done it? Has he done it? You're talking like you lot have won the league already. Like, there's so much football left to be played. Again, this is why you get clipped and memed the fuck out of, because you go way too early. We're only in January, in a condensed season. There's been 1 month less of football, and you're already talking about how Arteta's better than Conte when he's done fuck all.
Arteta, a lot of your fans,
so far,
a lot of your Tottenham fans would change Arteta for Conte right now.
No, they wouldn't.
They would.
Under what premise?
A lot of Tottenham fans would change Mikel Arteta for Conte at this moment in time.
No, they
wouldn't.
The
development of players,
this is the thing.
Based on the fact that he's able to get better out of players, based on the fact that when the chips are down, he holds himself accountable and he doesn't throw blame at other individuals, and he stands up and
it's all well and good you saying this, but you're acting like Arteta's been backed first and foremost. You spent a lot of money, and the key ingredient that you seem to keep overlooking is that Arteta's had a lot of time. Yeah, Conte hasn't had the same amount of time, so let's be fair, innit? Right now, Arteta's doing fantastic. You lot are playing the best football in the league. You are the best team in the league. But to say all of this and that about how Arteta's the better manager, it's a bit crazy. Is Arteta better than Jurgen Klopp and other guys that he's above right now? No, he's not. But right now, you guys are in form and doing well. Yeah, and he's the better manager as well. And he's the better manager as well.
But for Tottenham, he is not going to last long. Guess what? Mikel Arteta is going to last longer than Conte. Conte is going to be gone by the end of the year. He's not going to last the rest of the year.
You said all of this last year. Nostradamus 2.0 or 2.3 now.
At this moment in time, you guys are holding on. You guys are holding on to a fractured. This guy right now, Antonio Conte, has an unhealthy relationship with your club, your fan base, and your ownership, and your whole board. You need to get rid of him, because he's not going to benefit you guys in the long run. He's just going to continuously fight with you guys.
Please just chill out.
And in the long run, if your ownership is going to be successful, they need to have somebody who's going to be able to work under the parameters Tottenham work under. Conte will never be able to be happy in the parameters Tottenham work under. It's always going to be a toxic relationship. And maybe you want a manager like him. Maybe you want a manager that does that and tries to do that. Maybe. But at the end of the day, I genuinely believe you guys are just trying to continuously bandage over cracks. And Antonio Conte, you're worse off with a manager like him that doesn't hold himself accountable, doesn't try to get the best out of the players, and constantly throws people under the bus.
Thank you very much for that. We've got some super chats I want to go to here. The first one says, question for the panel: where would Spurs finish if Harry Kane got injured? Outside top 10 or relegation? Joshua also said, if Conte and Kane leave, where would they finish? I mean, if Harry Kane left Tottenham, they won't ever make top 4. It'd be impossible without him, unless they go out and bring somebody in of a very high level. I think we'd agree. This here says, Egal, if Man United get a result of the Emirates, is Ten Hag a better manager than Arteta? Colin, are you single? Terry, all female panelists, next show, please. The last bit probably won't happen for a while. But Colleen, are you still single, or you got a fella now?
My heart belongs to Unai Emery.
Yeah. Colleen's always single. It's mad. She blames the men, but I think she's got the problem really.
Wait, let's move on.
Colleen Colleen needs a top
Podcast
G.
about
Not
relationships.
GGing around at a minute. But Egal, if Man United beat you at the Emirates, is Ten Hag better than Arteta?
No, one individual game doesn't make you a better manager. Worst managers are able to beat Pep Guardiola on a yearly basis.
What was that? Wait. So on a basis that you've just had a decent run of form and pretty much only won a domestic trophy under him, when Ten Hag's won his league in his own country and all that kind of stuff makes.
According to Egal,
manager. Listen to what I said before you get upset. I said one-off games don't determine who's a better manager.
Okay, but he's already beat your manager once.
What's Arteta done for you to say he's better than Conte? Because you're like, where does it start and stop? Because you just had a long 5-minute rant with me telling me that Arteta's better than Conte. I wish I had.
Conte has a better CV, but Mikel Arteta, based on the situation that my club's in, your club's in, and certain other clubs that are building, Antonio Conte is very toxic, and he doesn't benefit you.
I want to ask you a question. Sorry, guys. Your question, Egal, your question. You said earlier that Arteta is doing more with less. So are you saying that the Spurs squad is actually better than Arsenal's?
No, what I'm saying is based on the fact that they have world-class players and Arteta is able to get better out of players that people
So again, for me listening, that sounds like you're saying Spurs have got the better team, but you've got the better manager. What are you saying?
Spurs have the better manager, apparently. Spurs have 2 world-class players, apparently, and they're.
Why are you saying apparently? It either is or isn't.
But if you're Pat, if you're doing more with less, that means you've got less. So have you got less resources than Tottenham?
No, it's not resources. It's based on reputation. The players the reputation of the players before the beginning of the season. Let's be honest. Tottenham were viewed as the team that have a better squad. Let's not rewrite history.
Yeah, but I'm asking you your opinion. Do you think you've got less than Tottenham? Less players, less squad, less resource?
Based off the opinions of the masses at the beginning of the season.
No. Based on form now, we have one of the best teams in the world right now.
That's not the question.
Egal, at the start of the season, did you think your squad was better than Tottenham's?
No.
That was all the answer that was needed. I didn't
that's what I said.
Wow, you don't need to do some flipping speech, bro. It's like a yes or no question, G.
I didn't need to know what saucy Martinelli 19 on Twitter, to be honest.
And you guys changed the answer.
Anos City here says 10 games ago, Arsenal will choke again. This league is our playground. 5 in 6 incoming is what Thanos, who's a City fan, has got to say here.
Everyone should want Arsenal to win the league except for Tottenham fans and Chelsea fans.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just starting to focus on English football. Tottenham fans are so shameless. Never seen a team in any league that has not won anything, and their fans talk so much. Is what PLS 27.
The fact that you just started focusing on football means that you shouldn't have an opinion right now. So allow it. Like, you don't know anything to be talking.
He says English football, but super chat away, my friend. Thank you very much. I appreciate. This tongue in cheek. I can't lie. That means this while you were is what he says here. We have another super chat that's come in. It's just come in here. It says, as an Arsenal fan, we've done great so far, but if we're serious about winning the league, we need to bring players in, not enough depth. And McManus, you're right. And Arsenal need to go out and spend big this window. They don't need to get ripped off, but they do need to spend big. They've got to bring players in, and there has to be alternatives because no one knows what a year looks like. And that's not a dig at Arsenal. This time last year, if you just said Arsenal would be on top of the league by 5 points, nobody would have believed you. No one really would have believed you. So who knows where Chelsea will be next year? Liverpool might have new owners. United could go to another level. City could be back to their brilliant best. I mean, they're already bloody good. So yeah, it's you've got to strike while the iron is at Arsenal and not worry about being a fucking accountant and shit like that. Get that job done. Win that trophy. Because winning that trophy, listen, Leicester ain't happy with where they are now. But Leicester wouldn't change what they've won in the last 5-6 years for anything, I reckon. That's just my opinion.
I don't think anyone's being an accountant this year. Yeah. A lot of people are agreeing with you.
Some are, some ain't. And again, if you're someone who, this is what I say to Gooners, stop thinking about all Arsenal fans as your friends, because there's a lot of dickheads as well. Like, I'm a Man United fan, but I'm a Man United fan in isolation. There's a lot of United fans that say some weird stuff about my club, and I don't agree with them. There are some Arsenal fans today that I've seen come for Ten Hag, and they're like, well, Ten Hag might be getting United to a higher level quicker than Arteta did, but it's because the squad had millions of pounds spent on it before he arrived. And then I looked at it. The 4 seasons before Arteta become manager, £446 million spent. The 4 seasons before I just used 4 because it was just I went with 4. I could have gone with 5 or 6. But the 4 seasons before Ten Hag arrived, 476 million. So United, 30 million more spent on our squad before our manager arrived. But now I'm seeing only a handful of Gooners, and it's really weird. They're like, well, Ten Hag should be doing better than Arteta did in the early stages because he had a better squad when he took over. I'm like, man, you guys predicted us coming 10th. That's what I mean by accountants. It's kind of weird to me. Not all. The majority of Gooners are just celebrating being top, but there is a very few small amount who I think are worried that another team might rebuild quicker or another team might win. Like this is what always happens though, because it happens to City. If Man United win the league next year, most rivals will say, yeah, but you bought it. That's just the narrative they're setting up early. That's what I mean by being accountants. It's so obvious to see from this early. Tom, did they drop points against the bottom 3 teams?
They do that every year though. Newcastle, West Brom, Southampton, Crystal Palace. Man City drop stupid points every year. But my point is, they always go on late surges in seasons. They always go on these late surges in seasons. And when you've got that pressure on your back where you know you can't drop points because they're not going to, that's where I'll see what Arsenal are made of. Because right now they've done great, but they're capitalising on a Man City team that's trying to readapt itself. The biggest I've seen it under Pep, going from this false 9, false striker system to a big man up top who doesn't touch the ball for 20 minutes. If they figure that out quickly enough, and I think they can do in this period, I think Pep's slowly starting to figure it out. If they figure it out quick enough and they go on that run with Haaland in there, that's the worry for Arsenal, because them runs are the ones you can't deal with.
Yeah, it's going to be such an interesting second half. Sky King says, Coattails Club, Pat needs to keep Arsenal out his mouth. Spurs ain't even worthy to speak the name. Stay away from stupid, by the way. Fair enough. Pat's lovely. Pat's not stupid. He's a lovely guy. He's a lovely guy. He's not stupid either. He's not stupid. He's got a good job.
Yeah, that's so harsh. Like, wow.
Yeah, he's having banter, but I'm just being. I'm sure Patrick is not going to lose any sleep over it. Like,
I really don't care. Like, even I see Kaz's comment or his arrow, just ignored him. Like, not even biting. Look at that.
You need to understand that this is Arteta's first job. Yeah, listen, we get that. Listen, and I already know. Listen, I can read these things a mile away because I've been in this game too long. The same as when Liverpool fans were building up that Pep Guardiola's reign early on was the greatest ever Premier League team, because they smelt blood that they could overtake them and win a few league titles. Therefore, they could say, if they were the best and we pipped them, we're the best. There are some Arsenal fans that right now are going to start setting up this kind of narrative of Arteta's first job. He gutted the squad. He developed certain youth players, because they're getting their story ready now. They're planting the seed for if, say we go into a new Man United Arsenal era for 3 or 4 years. Say we do, hypothetically speaking. Arsenal fans will want to have the reasons why their run is the best. Man United will have their reasons why their run is the best. When in reality, it will just be which one wins the most damn trophies in that time period. That is what it'll be judged on. But like Arsenal fans did years back, yeah, Fergie won more, but our net spend was better. Like, that's the kind of thing. And that's not a dig. That's just what fans do. Liverpool fans have been doing it for the last 6 years.
Terry, have you changed your expectations for Man United this season?
Sorry, what?
Have you changed your expectations?
I've changed my expectations now. Yes, I expect us to challenge for the top 4 now, where before I didn't. So I have changed them. Because we have got a lot better, a lot quicker than I expected. But that's mainly because I didn't expect the Glazers to give so much power and control to Ten Hag. The way he was able to get rid of Ronaldo, the way he's been able to drop the captain and England's star, Maguire. These were 2 things that managers were almost forced into not being able to do before. I think the Glazers have let a little bit more power go because they're trying to sell. Do they care as much? But either way, I don't care their reasoning. We're improving because there's real discipline at the club again, and so that element is just as important as recruitment and getting a CD. This is what I mean by rewriting history. A Man United fan said to me earlier, no, the only reason we've improved is because for the first time since Fergie left, we bought a good quality CDM. I'm like, bruv, we bought a very good Matic at 27, 28 years of age in 2017. Like, let us not rewrite goddamn history. He's not the first midfielder we've bought. There's just the club's being run better in the short term. The Glazers stay.
You're going to update the top 4, Terry?
No, not yet. We're going to probably do that once we get to the halfway stage of the season, which ironically will be after this next 2 round of games. then we'll have a look. But I have changed my mind already. Like Man United will finish in front of Tottenham this year. We will finish in front of Chelsea this year. I'm still not 100% confident to finish in front of Liverpool, just because Liverpool have this habit of going on these runs as well. But United are in top 4 contention now 100%. And barring Arsenal, I think we've exceeded. And you could argue Newcastle. United are one of the most overperforming teams this year based on most people's expectations, I would say. But there we go. The super chat here says, you spend when you're at your strongest. Fergie, Wenger, Pep know this. Klopp, lesson learned. Absolutely right. Can someone explain how Chelsea can spend what they are on players under FFP? It's ridiculous. Very quickly, because net spend isn't real. It doesn't exist in any capacity. Any content creator that says it does, block them, unfollow them instantly. It's based on your trading accounts, and the majority of transfers are spread over the time period of the contract the player signs. Therefore, if you spend 250 million in one summer, and the average contract length is 5 years, year one on your trading account, you've only spent 50 odd million pounds. Equally, how you balance it is you're able with accounting, with the accounting way it works is when you sell a player, even though you might only get the money once a year, broken up over 5 years, you can show it in your accounts as an instant hit of cash. So you can balance the books very, very easily. FFP is based on your profit and loss of your trading accounts, the only true net spend. That's it in a nutshell. Anyone who disagrees is a fucking dickhead. Simple as that, because I don't understand how it works. Terry, that's disingenuous. Look at squads inherited. I mean, yeah, you can look at squads inherited, but again, this is what I mean by we can all play this game. At the start of this season, United were a dead club, crap squad. Rashford, championship player, McFred there. Everyone laughing at how bad Luke Shaw was. David De Gea passed his best. My point is that you could United were written off at the start of this season. So now we're going to say, actually, we were wrong about that. It's for me, when you start playing these games, it's like our run's better or we're in better. What Fergie did wasn't as good as what Wenger did, because Fergie spent over 5 years net 120 million pound more. It's just a nonsense argument to me. It's who won the most damn trophies. Do you know what I mean? As simple as that. But I do hear your point. But there's loads of different arguments either way, isn't there? But listen, Arteta's doing a brilliant job. I've said that all year. I haven't even tweeted anything about Arteta when I'm talking about Man United. I've just tweeted things about how impressed I am with our growth this season. And people straight away come in with, yeah, but he spent this and he done that and he inherited that. I'm like, yeah, but you said we were coming 10th. So I don't get the anger, personally. Sorry. As an Arsenal fan for over 20 years, it's nice for us to be back in the title challenge again. Even nicer to see Spurs' golden years over without winning anything, is what Matt says.
Just go on and win the league now. That's it. Go on, no more talking.
Honestly, this Chelsea season, a long time coming. In my opinion, a rebuild won't take 4 years like other clubs because we still spend like Roman with an RB model set in its place. I agree with you, C. It won't. I mean, people said at the start of the season, Man United would be 4 years to catch up with Liverpool. It's taken 17 games to be 5, 6, 7 points ahead. That's not a dick. We have caught up. The only thing that could go wrong for Man United now is that our owners pull the rug from under Ten Hag's feet. It's real simple stuff. There's another super chat here that says, I think we are scared from years past where spending 80 million on one player will limit us from upgrading in other areas. If Kroenke is willing, fair play. Would you say
I don't think Arteta cares. I don't think Arteta really cares. I don't think that phases him one little bit. I think he just wants to spend the money. Just go do it then. Cool. I think he believes in himself. You're going to spend 100 million. That means including Joao Felix and Mudryk, maybe altogether, not 190 maybe. I don't think he really cares because he wants to win. And that's what you're going to have to do to win, right?
What position would be limited on, though? Because I know they need another winger backup, and I know that you need an attacker now that Jesus is injured.
Yeah.
And, that could flip.
I think we're going to
Mudryk
plays across the front three, wherever, left or right mainly, direct. It suits Arsenal, in my opinion. Left wing's probably his best bet, right? Then you got Felix, play anywhere. Centre mid in a 3, could replace Odegaard if he needs a rest, if he needs to do that position there. Attacking mid, centre forward, left wing, right wing, depending on how you set up. A multifunctional player and class.
I think we spend that money in the summer. We buy 80 million pound player in the midfield, and we spend it this upcoming window in Mudryk. But I don't know if we're going to go all the way to 80 million.
You need Mudryk now. this
No,
is
that's what I'm
probably the
saying. We're
best
gonna get
championship.
Mudryk now,
I
and
don't
we're
think
gonna get a
so.
midfielder in the summer that's gonna cost around the same money.
I think you
So-
can
so
get. I
then-
think you can get wingers for cheaper this year. If you need the backups, get one this year. Get something this year, like Felix on loan, because I think he can cover as well. And then maybe go get Mudryk for cheaper in the summer. I mean, you might have to get a stopgap
He's not
somewhere in
gonna
the
be
loan,
cheaper in
but
the summer. He's just gonna cost more.
January's always more expensive than the summer.
It's going to definitely be interesting to see what happens. Terry, do you really think we've turned a corner like that? I think Man United have turned a small corner. I still think there's many tests before. Man United aren't back until we're challenging for titles regularly. That's the standard of my football club. The same as I saw some idiot calling Anthony Martial a legend last night, and I'm like, listen, Man United have such a high, Man United have a high standard. I think 2 to 3 Prems and/or a Champions League is like a minimum gateway before you even get spoken about in that category. Like, we're just of that level of a football club. Like, if you don't have them trophies, then you're not a legend. You might be a folk hero, loved and adored. There was loads of players in the 80s where we won very little that are loved and adored, but they don't compare to the players from the 50s and the 60s or the 90s and the noughties. They just don't. They don't compare at all.
What's your standard for managers?
I've always said, for me, to be considered one of the legends, you've got to win back-to-back titles and a Champions League to be a great, because the greatest have all done that. The greatest managers, the most historic managers of all time, have won a Champions League, and they've won back-to-back league titles in a particular country, like a big league. I think those things have always been my minimum standard achievements, and they'll always remain. So, like, for Ten Hag,
Do we cut out Arsene Wenger then, because he's never won a Champions League?
I think there are debates within it. So there are debates within it. For instance, Carlo Ancelotti is a great example. He's never done back-to-back league titles, but the man's won 4 Champions Leagues, more than any other manager. So there are always going to be caveats where someone achieves something. I think Wenger is a great argument because he did an invincible season. He's won 2 doubles, which are massive.
And he changed English football.
Well, yeah, he didn't. He didn't. He did, in the sense of the dietary stuff he brought in was brilliant, but then it was Fergie 10 years before him that got alcohol out of football. So that's not a solely Wenger thing. When you actually do research on the greatest managers, you'll always read in about them something they brought that no one else did before them, and that's why Wenger's in that argument, because he did those things. But as a general rule, I want to see back-to-back league titles, and I want to see a Champions League, because they're the hardest things to do in football. And I think that there has to be a high gateway to be in legendary conversations for me.
I think as a club legend, the bar is a little lower. And for Arsene Wenger, he's obviously a club legend. And Mikel Arteta, let's be honest, as a club, he's been a captain. He won an FA Cup as a captain. He won an FA Cup as a manager. If he wins a Premier League and he potentially does more, who's to say he doesn't become a legend by the end of his career?
I thought he was about to say is a legend. I was about to say Egal, please.
You're right on club legends. Like, Harry Kane's a club legend for Tottenham already, but he is not a football legend. He can't sit on a table with Luis Suarez and Zlatan Ibrahimovic because he hasn't got the medals for the entry fee. Like, you need those medals and trophies. There's no. Let me ask you this question for footballing greats. Find me a footballing great that hasn't won a number of major trophies. A great. Any of them, find me one. Or a manager who you go, he's a great, that hasn't won multiple big trophies. They're fucking, like, I'm not even being rude. There ain't one. They don't exist. It's impossible. So, club legend, I don't care what Arsenal fans want to call a legend at your own club. It ain't my club. But Arteta, if you're going to say Arteta is a football legend for winning the Premier League, I'm like, the man's got to get close to winning what Pep and Fergie and Wenger have won Premier League wise to even be spoken about as one of the best managers, let alone a great. Like, there's got to be these things, but that's just my standard. I have a very high ceiling for greatness when it comes to that.
You reminded me how glad I am not to be a Tottenham fan. Honestly, you must hate it down there, man. Honestly,
I'm good. We don't want you guys. It's all
I
good.
don't want you guys.
We don't want you. It's all good, bro. It's all good.
It must suck, bro.
Nah, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. Tottenham is the club I love. Tottenham is the club I know. I'm happy where I'm at. So
do you know what whenever I say this, I always get someone say Totti. Well, for me, Totti's an echelon below footballing greats. I wouldn't put him in the same category as Ronaldinho's and people like that. But equally, I'm sorry to be rude, Totti won a league title with Roma. He's won 2 Coppa Italias, and he won the World Cup. So this man's won 4 major trophies. So it's not even a good example. He's won 4. People say Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer has won 1 Premier League. That's why I don't put Alan Shearer in my category of greats. He doesn't talk to Henry, Aguero, Rooney. And by the way, decision making matters. He could have joined Man United. He chose not to. He made the wrong career choice. But yeah, people just come out. Sometimes people come out with really weird examples, and they say a player's name, and then you do. I don't even know what every player's won because I don't sit there and like an anorak and look at it, right? But like I don't know. I just kind of look at it. There's a great one here, JJ Okocha. Yeah, JJ Okocha is not a footballing great. He doesn't. Did he sit on the table with Zidane?
No, he's obviously held in high regard because of his skills and tricks, and obviously what he's done for Nigeria in African football.
Players.
But
that's what
he's not. Yeah, exactly. But he's not a footballing legend. No way.
Yeah, no, and I agree.
Sure.
Alan Shearer is one of those debatable ones because he did win a Prem. He scored so many goals. He's in that conversation. But I think if you went around the world and got people to write their 10 greatest strikers of all time down, Alan Shearer's name wouldn't be on it. If you got the 10 most creative midfielders of all time's names down, I don't think JJ Okocha's name would be on it. Like greatest creative midfielders in terms of ability, output, what they won, his name wouldn't be on it. And like that's why I look at Harry Kane so much as Harry Kane's got the ability to be on that list. He doesn't have the trophies to be on it. If Harry Kane, though, had won 3 or 4 Prems, 2 Champions Leagues, 4 FA Cups, he'd be in contention with the amount of goals he scores. 100% in my opinion. But yeah, I loved watching JJ Okocha, by the way. After the invincible season, Arsenal didn't add any quality players. They bought in Flamini and Almunia only. That's why we fell off, is what AMT says. The top 4 is set, in my opinion. Do you guys think that the top 4 as it is now is how it will stay?
No way.
No, I think Liverpool can cause some problems.
I think Newcastle. I'm going to be. I was the biggest advocate of not them being there, but currently a lot of the top 6 sides have to go to Newcastle, including ours. And luckily for us, we got a game in hand against them, and there's going to be a lot of points dropped. I think Newcastle can do it. I don't see why not. They look better than Newcastle. They look better than Chelsea. They look better than Liverpool, where they got robbed anyways, and they also look better than Tottenham. And currently, you could say they look just as good as Man United at the moment, like defensively and scoring roughly the same amount of goals. And that it's just.
I think the top 3 is set. I think 4th is up for grabs. 4th could be won by.
Yeah. I don't think it's set, but it's definitely.
I think only the first 2 teams are set, as in Arsenal and City. I think everything else is still up for grabs. There's still so much football left to be played, and teams will go through blips and ups and downs. There's no way Newcastle are going to maintain this form. There's no way United will, and Liverpool is still in it.
Why can Newcastle not maintain the this isn't just a flash in the pan for Newcastle.
It's not. But do you think they're going to continue to win every week?
Yeah,
and win or draw every week?
I think they can. They're not winning every week, but I back that Newcastle can retain their strong. They've got the best defense in the league. They have got the best defense in the league.
They do, but listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying they're not going to maintain this form throughout the whole of the season. So they're only 2 points ahead of 4th and 5th or whatever it is.
But
Man United's got a game in hand.
How bad do you think their fall off is going to be? Because every other team around them is going to fall off. Or not
that's it. But they can definitely go on a run of 3 or 4 games where you don't pick up a win, and other teams do, and then the gap is then all of a sudden football's football. Like I can't see them finishing 3rd and just maintaining it. I can't.
I think they got a better chance than you lot getting 4th. But that's just not me being on a bad thing. I think they really do.
Patrick,
it's
let's not beat around the bush with your next 4 games. Your next 4 games are ropey. That's what I think could do in your top 4 charge.
But why are you lot talking about me? I'm just saying I don't think Newcastle will maintain this thing. I mean, you lot have already written Tottenham off, which in my opinion is crazy because we're only 2 points behind Newcastle and United. But it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is.
But you were only 4 points off Arsenal when you were 3rd, and you're happy.
You are, aren't you?
And now, we're 2 points behind you. That's what I'm saying. The way you lot talk about.
We got. I can't lie. Look, nothing's nailed on, but we got Leeds at home. We're smashing. I don't think Leeds get a result at us, and that's just if that's a maybe, isn't it?
But I mean, with all this football left to be played, and you lot to write us off is mad in my opinion. But it is what it is. That's the game, isn't it?
I'm not writing off Tottenham. But what I'm going to say is, in the next 2 games, Tottenham and Manchester United are going to be the 2 biggest factors in this title race over the next 2 games. Both Man City and Arsenal play Tottenham and Manchester United in the next 2 games. So we play Tottenham, then Man United. Man City play Man United, then Tottenham. So we'll see how you guys perform. And it's going to change the whole top 4. It's going to change everything.
Probably. Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting. Question here, Colleen, I'm going to throw this to. If Arsenal win the league, did they overachieve?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think we'll agree.
I don't think there needs anything further to say. You can't
no doubt about that.
From 5th to 1st in a season like that. 100%.
It's massive. I joke. I'm going to throw this to Egal. Just spend 100 million on Zaha, Tillemans, and Felix, and win the league. Would you be happy with that?
That would be amazing, but I don't think we'd get all three of them.
You might do for 100 mil. You get them all.
Yeah,
I don't think we want Zaha personally.
Yeah.
When it comes to Tillemans, I feel like Tillemans wants Arsenal. Leicester want to get rid of him at this point because they know he's going to leave for nothing. And I don't think we want to. I feel like if we're going to get him, we're going to just wait to get him on a free.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Matt here says, thoughts on whether Kane will stay beyond the summer? Will it depend on top four? What future for Spurs? I'll change it slightly back to, should Harry Kane leave Tottenham this summer?
100%. He should think about going to Newcastle.
He should leave. Kane should go. I think a lot of it hangs in the balance around Conte, if Conte stays or not, if there's a dramatic improvement in terms of the board and investment. Not even as just like, I want him to go because he's at Tottenham, just for the sake of his career to win a trophy. If Tottenham don't win a trophy at the end of the season, you know, he's getting on a little bit whilst he's still got the talent. Just cash in, go somewhere where you can guarantee at least a trophy, because we'll be having these debates in 10, 20, 30, 40 years time around how we kind of talk about Letitia, but not necessarily to the same degree. Harry Kane will be on top of that pile of one of the best players to not win anything, and it would be a shame. And it's just the reality of the situation, unfortunately.
Keep him away from my club. I don't need that shit mentality at my club.
Harry Kane's not going to damage his Tottenham legacy. He's not going to. Anything he does if he leaves in the summer isn't going to change how Tottenham fans hold him in the highest esteem. So just go ring chase. Go ring chase. Go off to City. Because I'm sure Pep Guardiola would take Harry Kane and find some way to fit him and Haaland in the same team because of Harry Kane's playmaking abilities, or go off abroad. There are clubs better in the nice possible way. There are clubs that can achieve more quicker than Newcastle. There's no guarantee that if Harry Kane goes to Newcastle, he's not going to be stuck in the same. He might get an FA Cup. He might get an FA Cup quicker than he will at Tottenham. But he wants leagues. He wants the big ones. He wants league titles. He wants Champions Leagues. And Newcastle aren't going to take him there. They'll take him there quicker, but not quick enough. He needs to go to one of the big ones.
We are Bayern's the shout. Bayern's big.
What are you saying, Pat?
Yeah. If Daniel Levy doesn't back the club properly, as I've been saying for the upteenth time, it's not this isn't new. I've been saying this from day one. And yeah, Kane should leave, definitely. And then all the fans will wake up. That will be the final nail in the coffin for the Levy inners and the Pro Enix. That will really wake them up and they smell the coffee, because yeah, the club's not where it needs to be right now. So yeah, if Kane's not
what's Tottenham's succession plan?
I don't know, Egal. I don't have all the answers. So let's see what happens. The thing is, you lot, like I keep saying, you lot have already written us off. We're only 2 points behind third. And it's wild, the stuff I've heard on here today. So let's just see what happens first. And let's see how the...
don't convince me, that's why.
No, but what's wild?
But you lot don't convince me either. But I'm hearing title shouts. So it's
I
mad.
didn't say title shouts. I'll say we could be in a position where
I'm just sitting here just like, it's mad. But
I hear where you're coming from, Patty. I look at Kane this way, though, and I think Kane should leave because... I'm purely speaking about him creating a legacy in the game. And it's funny because you look at where the options are. I don't think he really wants to go abroad. I think he wants to stay in England. I really think he wants to stay in England. Newcastle is a great shout if they keep progressing. If Man United end its season well, there's a chance of winning. Like, honestly, if Man United signed Harry Kane today, my mind would change as to whether or not we could win the Premier League. I think if Harry Kane signed for Man United today, we could win the league from this point. That's how good I think Harry Kane is and how much I think he could elevate a team, because he's not like Haaland. Haaland's the best finisher I've seen in the league in a long time. But Harry Kane is a better football player. And Harry Kane can link up the midfield to the attack. He can be the number 9. And you saw with the goals he scored. I mean, this season, I swear he's on, 15 goals, not even halfway through the season.
Yeah.
It's just being looked at as low because Haaland's pushed the barometer so far. But if you gave someone like a Harry Kane to a team like Man United, I wouldn't say we 100% would win the league, but it wouldn't be a bad shout, because Harry Kane's the kind of player that would win us 12 points between now and the end of the season that we wouldn't win any other way, because he's that good. So there are options for Kane in the summer if Spurs don't progress back to where they're going to win.
Yeah.
I want Kane to do it. Yes, look, I'd love him to join United and help us win league titles.
And you have to get rid of Bruno, man.
Well, yeah,
Kane and Bruno is a recipe for disaster. They occupy the same spaces.
But I disagree. because what it would enable is Harry Kane would drop deep. Bruno would love to run on into that space beyond. He'd love to run on. He couldn't do it with Ronaldo because Ronaldo would drop deep and get the ball. Ronaldo went playing them balls into the box. 100%. Either way, I'm just throwing it out there as a hypothetical instead of thinking it through deeply. Harry Kane, I want him to have a legacy in football outside of Tottenham, and to do that, and not just be the top goal scorer in Prem history, or to beat Greavy's record, or to be the top goal scorer for England, even being England's top goal scorer. I don't rate Rooney or Kane higher in England's standings of legends than I do Sir Jeff Hurst or Greaves because they won the damn World Cup. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's people think I do it to pop at Kane. I just have high standards, and I want Harry Kane to sit amongst it. And like, I think he should leave. If Spurs aren't ready to win trophies, and there's 2 or 3 other clubs that need a striker and they are ready to win, go for it. Take the gamble.
Yeah, I agree. It's been way too long now. 2 or 3 years ago, my mindset was different, but I've seen all the bullshit. I've seen Levy sell us so many false dreams and false promises. And for me as well, I think it'd just be the biggest shake up and wake up that this fan base needs. So I agree. I'm with all of you lot on that one.
I agree with you on that. Comment here from Chike says, afternoon, everyone from the East Coast. I want to update you all on Damar Hamlin situation, and he's communicating with his family and doctors. Thank you all for your continued support and courage. Yeah, I heard the news that his cognitive functions are all in good tact, which is good. And congratulations to him for that, because obviously scary time for him and his family.
Just for people that don't know, who's Hamlin? Who's this guy?
He is an NFL player.
NFL player, plays for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, he was involved in a challenge, and then he went into cardiac arrest. And I mean, I haven't researched it, but I'm not. I saw one thing said it happened. I mean, someone was saying it could have been because of the impact of like hitting the chest, but I'm not speculating because I'm not a doctor. But yeah, thank God he's awake and his brain's good.
I thought Harry Kane was 31. He's 20. He's only just turned 29. I bring him to OT, man.
All right, no. Stick with your initial thing.
It's a Van Persie thing all over
Kane's
again.
29,
Let's go,
man.
man.
Yeah, he's 29.
He's 29. I'll bring him to
I even mean this way: if Harry Kane joined Arsenal today, it wouldn't happen. Arsenal win this league by 10 points. That's how good Harry Kane is.
Kane's such a good player. He's such a good player.
He is game changing. He just needs to be at a club that can harness that, you know. Super Mick Arteta here says, if Partey burst case stays fit all season, we win, is what he said there. Thank you very much, AJ. Busting cases, you know. Live on the terrace. Predictions, though, for the FA Cup, boys and girls. Man United play first tonight up against Everton. Score prediction, Kaz. Man United, Everton tonight. Who we putting through?
We're sacking Lampard today, innit? So whoever's got Everton next is going to get a bounce back or something. I think Liverpool's got them soon. So yeah, let's sack them. I'm going to go 3-0 Man United.
3-0 United. Colleen?
I think it depends on how much United rotate. I would like to think they take it seriously and not maybe rotate too much. The lines are literally just about to come out, but with Everton's form, it's going to be 3-4-0 United.
We're rotating, all right. Varane and Lindelof are playing. I mean, Varane and Martinez are playing with Delo and Malacia. So, I believe.
Nice.
Let's go.
We'll take it seriously. We haven't got a big game for a week.
I'd like Everton to bounce back. I don't want Everton to go for this slump. I like Everton as a Premier League club. I do. Sorry, Tom, but I do.
There we go. Tom, what's your prediction, bro? Score prediction, please.
9-0. Sack at half time, please. Get him sacked at half time. I want not more than for him to go.
Okay. What you saying, Patty? Score prediction, please.
Yeah, 3-0. Comfortable one. 3-0.
3-0 United. Egal?
I'm thinking it's going to be a close one, 2-1 Man United.
What?
You guys always make it interesting in these games.
Nah, come on, Egal.
Fair enough.
It's FA Cup, the beauty of the FA Cup.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0 United. I'm going to go for another nice, comfortable win for us. Yeah, I'm going for it. Next game, Tottenham versus Portsmouth, Kaz. Tottenham, Portsmouth.
I think I'm just going to go 4-0. I don't think it's doing too great at Portsmouth at the moment, and I think Tottenham could do a bit of a surge, regardless if it's rotation or not. They need some sort of answer before the North London derby. I'm going to go 4-0. I think it'll be a slow one, like, you know, the 1-0 for half time, and then before you know it, just crash them out. Yep. That kind of onslaught.
Portsmouth just sacked their head coach and assistant head coach, right? So as much as I'd like to believe in the magic of the FA Cup, there's no way. I think Tottenham win comfortably 3-4-0.
Yeah, Tottenham win 2-0.
Patty?
3-0.
3-0. Tom?
I still want to go Portsmouth because I've got mates who are going the game. But I just can't back it. It'll be like, I hope it's I like 2-1 Tottenham in extra time.
2-1 Tottenham. I'm actually going to go 4-0 Tottenham. I think they'll drum them. Strong team. Conte will play. Will smash them up. Next game. Excuse me. Kaz, we'll go Liverpool, Wolverhampton Wanderers. 8 p.m. tomorrow night.
Oh yeah, Wolves 2-1.
Woo! Cole?
Same 2-1 Wolves.
Woo!
There's no way Wolves put a strong team out. Liverpool are going to put a stronger team out. They're going to win.
I don't care what they got out, bro. I don't care what they got.
I said 3-0.
Okay, I didn't hear you. Sorry. Patty?
3-1 Liverpool.
3-1. And young Timothy?
Honestly, I'm leaning more so to 2-1 Wolves than 3-1. You know,
What?
We're that bad at the minute. We're that bad at the minute. I'm going to have to watch Fabio Carvalho left wing again. James Milner will be back for left back. It's going to stink. The only shining light is Cody Gakpo's going to play. So I'll go 1-0. I'll go for the deadest 1-0 you could imagine.
Fair enough. 1-0. I'm going to go with 2-0 Liverpool. I think you'll win that one, to be fair. Oxford versus Arsenal, Monday night, Kaz.
I just 2-0 Arsenal. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 2-0 Arsenal.
Cole?
I think Arsenal should win 2-0, but I've got a bit of, I'm a little bit unsure of A, rotation, B, I've got PTSD, so wearing that no knives out colourless kit again, where we got absolutely embarrassed against Forest. So a cautious 2-0.
Cautious 2-0. Egal?
It's going to be an ugly game, 1-0. You're going to see probably like 7 players come in.
Yeah. What you saying, Patty?
1-0 Oxford. Magic of the FA Cup strikes again.
Oh!
Let's go.
I would love to see a massive upset like that.
That would actually help us.
Not having it. Not having it.
It's possible, you know. Arsenal will rotate a lot. Arsenal will rotate a lot.
I can't imagine.
The
league
been off the FA Cup to win the league. Let's do it.
Yeah.
What you saying, Tom? Who's winning that game?
Arsenal 3-0.
Where's the enthusiasm, mate?
I don't like Arsenal, so it's very hard for me to get excited about them winning.
Wow.
I'm actually going to go like 4-0 Arsenal. I think Arsenal will do it. I think they'll look good.
United's lineup. Sorry, that is the strongest lineup. He's part of the strongest lineup.
Yeah, I thought he would, because we play tonight and then we've got fucking Charlton in the week. We'll rotate for Charlton in the Carabao Cup, and then that's what we'll do. That's why I knew you'd play a strong team tonight. Get through the round. You've got to do it. Final game, the big one, Man City Chelsea at the Etihad. Kaz, what are you going with?
Oh, I don't even know, man. I'm just gonna go 2-0 City. Yeah, 2-0 City.
2-0 City. Cole?
3-0 City will be much better than it was at Stamford Bridge. That was Chelsea's time to win against City. They're not winning at the Etihad.
Egal?
I'm going to go 1-0 City.
Patty?
2-0 City, more fluid display than the other day.
Tom?
Do we have replays in this round or not? Are they like a thing yet? Or
I don't know. I don't know if they are.
Extra time.
Because if it goes to extra time, City will win in extra time.
Oh no, does it not go straight to penalties?
If there's not a replay, City win. But if there is a replay,
they're going to Google replays. FA Cup replay.
Well, they stopped the replays due to
they got rid of replays a couple years ago.
Yeah, they did. Hang on a second. I just want to check here, just because they got rid of them, but I don't know if it's. Sorry, there's loads of articles on it, and they definitely got rid of it. But I'm not. In the FA replays are set to be scrapped by case basis. That was in September 2022 article. I think they got rid of it after COVID. But I think it may have come back. I don't know. I need to read. I'm not too sure. I'm not.
I've just looked it up. Apparently, it's back this year. This is the first year it's back. Apparently.
Oh, we need a draw.
If there is a replay, it's a draw.
We need it.
There we go.
Chelsea
Yeah. I think when they say like game by game basis, there might be like you might have some League 2 clubs who are playing up mad fixtures and they can't fit it in, and they maybe decide ahead of time. So maybe. Obviously, the small teams like Oxford would love a replay against Arsenal because they get all the money. You get the gate receipts, so I think they'll do it by that. I'm going to go with 3-0 City. I think Chelsea look washed right now. I think that's what will happen. But there we go. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that's tuned in Of course, lots of big transfer stories that we spoke about today, including Joao Felix to Arsenal progressing, the Mudryk hijack, Enzo Fernandez being back on, title race debate, and much, much more. We're live after Man United Everton in about 2.5, 3 hours time. So make sure you're tuning into the Football Terrace then. Tom and Callum back in Liverpool today. Thank you. Patty on supporting his lovely Lily Whites of North London. Egal and Colleen back in the Arsenal. Kaz and me here repping Manchester United. And of course, all of you in the comments back in your clubs as well in this conversation on another episode of the Top 6. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Thank you.